Good evening. Good evening, everybody. This is kind of the late night early edition of Encounters. Well, about 10:13 on the East Coast. Hey, Butterfly, thank you for the roses. We're on earlier than normally. Larnay, good to see you. Good to see everybody coming in here. Good evening to you, Lonita. Fastmus, thank you for the likes. Gary House, good to see you, brother in Iowa. Danny, Fastmus, thanks for the likes. Shelly Ann Newman, we're going to have a great show tonight. The show from last night is on my YouTube channel. For those that don't know, I do have a YouTube channel for my Encounters recorded shows. Ashtar Command Spaceship News. I'll repeat, Ashtar Command Spaceship News. JNR, good to see you. We had a really hot show last night, as always. Really great guests. If you missed last night's show, when you have the time, go to my Ashtar Command Spaceship News, and you'll see last night's show. Ashley, welcome to the show. Hey, Matt, welcome to the show. Coffee Bomb, Gabe, 2316, everybody, Deborah, all the people coming in here, wherever you are, Bernie R., people from all over the world, King, Roz, Three Monks. Good to have everybody coming in here. And just to give you some background, Lavola, good to see you. I'm CmdrAleon on the most hottest spiritual UFO talk show on social media. Forget just major media. This is it. This is where it's happening. This is where things are happening. This is where the stories are happening, where people are sharing. We had some great guests last night. You have to listen to the show, watch the show from last night. And we'll have another great show. Magdalena, good to see you. Good evening. Tracy Faith, if I miss a name here or there, no worries. Robert, Cubicle, Mr. Broom, I think it is. Gary Meyer, I'm looking at all these names. Merriweather, good to see you, Merriweather, always. CT57, Psychic Kimmy, hey, how you doing, Psychic Kimmy? Pistol Pete, and my cat is now going to be mowing. Steve, good to see you. Edward Hernandez, Lucy, Pedro, Michael. I'm looking at the names here. Leon, I think it's Leon. Ellie J, welcome Ellie J. Shauna. A lot of good people coming in here. I see a bunch of names. New in 869, welcome 869. Air, welcome Air. King Grass, thank you for joining us. Thorian, Storm Hammer, I think it is. Hello, how you doing? Katrina, hello, Katrina. Mad Dogger. Cookie, welcome Cookie. Shannon Roots, I think it is. User 988. Good to have everybody here, wherever you are around the world. This is Encounters, the hottest spiritual UFO talk show, bar none, on social media and even on TikTok. This is a actual show. Just to let people who are new here, you'll find that this is an actual show. We don't do any arguing when there's no people talking over each other. We take the time to interview our guests, to hear their stories so we can understand their experiences, their sightings, people that are coming out who have people that are friends or cousins that are top secret who want to come out and share information about disclosure. All of those things. Hey, Butterfly, hello from New York. Good to see you. So I want to give you some idea what's happening here. So we started early tonight. We'll be here till 12:30, 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours of encounters. That's a long time. But that's what we do. We do 2.5 hours of encounters. And this is the way it works. If you, number one, please share. Please like. We want to get up to over 100,000 likes by 12:30 a.m. this morning. I know we can do it. If you know anybody you think would be interested in this kind of a program, please share with those people. If they're on your friends list, share with them. Let them know we're here right now. Let them know we're live. I'll give you some background for new people here. I'm a contactee from the 1960s. My first contact was in the probably late 60s, maybe. Yeah, probably middle to late 60s. And that was a spaceship in a cul-de-sac with men, women, and children in light blue space outfits. I was looking at them through the second bedroom of my brother's bedroom at the time. Just to give you like a little bio, I do this on every show I do. And that was my first experience. I've seen many, many spaceships. I don't call them UFOs, but spaceships of different sizes for many, many years. I'm also from Mars. For people that are coming in here that are new say, oh, hey, Kush, good to see you from Ontario. Good to have you with us. Yeah, let's see. John says, I've seen a Tic Tac in La Quinta, California a few months ago fly low and slow. Interesting. So, yeah, I'll be reading some of what people's responses are in their comments about what their sightings are. So, again, to give you my background, I also work with the Ashtar Galactic Command. You might have heard of Ashtar Galactic Command or Ashtar Command. I've been working with the Ashtar Command before there was any internet or websites or any kind of stuff going on. One of the things also I will tell you about what I do here on the show is I am cosmically awakened. What does that mean? I work in Christ consciousness, cosmic Christ consciousness. I'm also cosmically awakened. I don't go to websites for my information. I don't listen to people on Facebook channeling 10,000 different things. I don't need to. All my information comes direct. My consciousness is fully activated. I know everything I need to know. When I don't know, I'll find out eventually. Steve saying, I'm just reading comments here. First and last 1976 years, 6 years old. Interesting. And we're going to get to interview people in just a little bit. I also have, working with the Ashtar Command, I've sent spaceships over where people have had some really low-level ETs trying to interfere with their lives. I've sent actual spaceships or a spaceship to a location logistically to assist those people. I did that last night with one of my guests. And so there are certain things I do here that actually do happen in a very positive way, depending on the story. That's when I'll actually intervene with the Ashtar Command and have them assist that person. So this is a talk show that's kind of out of this world. Hey, yeah, we're on a little bit earlier, Jennifer. Good to see you. It feels pretty good. I am really fired up here. So we are not your normal UFO talk show. We're not your traditional bolts and nuts talk show. I'd be bored if I had to do a show like that. We get into visitations. We get into disclosure. We get into UFO sightings that are happening. We get into all that stuff. We get into the crop circles. We talk about fairies, the Bigfoots, which all exist. We get into all that because it's all real. In human society, in this planet Earth we call Earth, with billions of human beings, not everybody's aware that these things exist. More people are now than they were 30 years ago, but not everybody does. I've seen all the videos you post. Hey, Kraken, good to see you. Hey, Kraken, thank you for the heart. They're not. Yeah, fairies are scary. You're laughing. I know you're joking around there, Slanamore. But we have to be, yeah. Nikolay, welcome, or Nikolai, user 459. I'm just randomly catching people. Kathy Sherwood, welcome to the show. So we're on early tonight. So if you've never seen my show, because we're on early, welcome. This is a show you're going to be addicted to. There are worse things you can be addicted to, but when you get addicted to encounters, it's a good addiction. I guarantee you. Hey, Skip the Grace. You're going to come on the show. We have Skip the Grace on here talking about a number of things. I also want to talk about Christ consciousness in terms of ET contact and how important it is to surround yourselves whenever you are making contact to have that knowledge. Ask them a new way to put out fires instead of water. Judy Blue Eyes. I like that name, Judy Blue Eyes. That sounds like a name from Cosby, Stills, and Nash for one of their songs. Good evening, Commander. Great to see you. Good to see you there, Johnny. You love your caffeine and salt? Great. As long as you got something you love. Mama Bear. Hey, Mama Bear. Thanks for following. Kelly, welcome to the show. And did the Germans have a UFO? I know, without getting too much into it, I'm pretty sure they did. I think a lot of places in Western, like the U.S., not just them, I think we also had stuff in the 40s. Hey, I want to be educated. Let's see. Marie O'Bannon, welcome to the show. You will definitely get a cosmic education on encounters that will blow your mind. without a question. So welcome to the best place to be on a Thursday night. Yeah, Beatles, I think. Actually, Judy Blue Eyes. Well, Cosmic doesn't have a song about blue eyes, something about Judy Blue Eyes or something like that. I might be. No problem, Marie. Good to have you with us. Welcome to Encounters. Everybody coming in here. And please share and like. We'd like to get up to 100,000 follow. Well, I'd like to do it. I keep saying followers. Yeah, but please follow me if you're watching here. Follow everybody else. We need 100,000 likes tonight. We're at 3.8. We want to do that by 12:30 a.m. in the morning, right? So we're going to bring on my friend Grace, and we're going to bring her on first. We haven't talked to Grace in quite a long time. She's been off planet for a while. Zombie, have you heard of the 1993 Cosford UFO incident in the UK? I have not heard of that, Zombie, but I'd love to hear about that story. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it's the illustrious Grace. Hey,
Hello.
how you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm amped up. I always put I do quietly a meditation before starting on here. I put a Ashtar Command protection around everybody, the room, and everything is beautiful. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
You look. Your house looks really nice.
Thank you.
It looks like a spaceship with little portal windows around it.
Doesn't it?
It kind of does. So everybody, this is Grace. She's with our C5 group. She's also with the New London County C5 group. She's also operating. I've been watching her videos about Christ consciousness and Christ. And we're going to start off with that to give people kind of an idea of how important that is in what we do in our everyday life as light people, as light beings, as human, like, in our bodysuit here. But as we progress forward in making sure we always operate in the highest levels of light, and I know you do, you want to explain a little bit about, what we do, how things work, and where we're going.
Yeah. So, yeah, thanks so much, Commander. I appreciate it. I haven't been around lately. I've been on assignment doing things. So,
I know that. I kind of knew that, but it's good you're here now.
yeah, so I'm doing. Hi, everyone. Hey, everyone. It's so good to see everybody. Hey, Johnny. Hey, Courtney. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for the greetings. I really appreciate that. So I know we have upcoming, we have two really cool events. I know the commander's got a C5 planned in the apple orchard, and we're actually in Connecticut. And what date is yours, Commander? I forget the date.
Our event is on the 13th of April. I haven't done any promotional videos yet. It's too soon. But as I get closer to the end of March, I'll be producing a video, and it'll be, I'm trying to figure out how to proceed with that. It's going to be happening related to the positive stuff that's happening with myself, with April, what I'm learning from the positive contact with the Ashtar Command itself. It's going to be beautiful, and we're not going on a ship, but we're going to be doing a C5, and something is going to be happening where we'll be able to document it, which is, I think, it's going to be beautiful. Whatever happens, it'll just be a beautiful frequency and energy of experience, vibrational patterns, and all that good jazz.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's on the 13th at 8 o'clock. We'll go live on, and I want to talk about your event because I'm going to go to your event too.
Yeah, the 13th. So, and the thing is that we always have something happen. So that's the great part about the CE5s. And this will be our first CE5 for the season, because we have the 4 seasons out here, and we're just like, we're in the winter season. So we're waiting now on some like less frigid weather. Although I do pretty much look up the sky every night. And in the daytime as well. But my C5 event, or our C5 event for New London County, is the 20th of April. And that's actually going to take place at the Dragon's Egg in Ledyard, Connecticut. So I don't know if anybody in the chat is local or interested in joining. You guys can actually join in the chat as well here on TikTok.
Yeah, you can.
And so we'll have a live stream going. I've been working with the Stephen Greer, Dr. Greer's ambassador program, and I've been training under his official CE5 people to help me with protocol. I'm a star ambassador, and anybody can partake in that program if you'd like. But you got to be invested because there's a lot of effort. It's a lot of study. We meet twice a month and we have, extended meetings. But recently what I learned was, and this is so cool, is the puja, which is the prayer and the preparation for the T5 meditation. And so what we'll do is we'll do a traditional puja, which is a ceremony that kind of like honors and welcomes and thanks to the universe for everything our beingness, our ability to just to do what we do every day. It's just to be in thanks and to kind of lay out on the table our gratefulness. And so that's basically what the puja is about. And so the puja it's the name of the ceremony, and it includes a Sanskrit prayer that actually Stephen Greer, Dr. Greer recites this every time they go out in the field. They'll go out for like 7 days. And
Wow, 7 days.
They hunker down and they go out for 5 to 7 days, and they have a team, and they'll do a puja every night. And they do the puja, which is the Sanskrit prayer, and then they have an altar set up with offerings on the altar, such as a camphor lamp with a light, and it's a sequence. The altar is, so the whole prayer is like a ritual where you are sitting there, and then you are literally doing like tasks like lighting incense, lighting a candle, lighting the camphor butter lamp. They call them butter lamps in the Tibetan and Hindu practices. But this is like literally, this prayer dates over 5,000 years. And it's a way to get you to raise the vibration and to connect to your inner self, because this is what has to take place in order for us. And not only do they teach us the protocol for the puja, but they're teaching us meditation now as well, because meditation is really key to connecting to the inner being, and then being able to set frequencies out to the universe. In order, during to the CE5, what we do is we follow a protocol that we do this is new for us. We'll be doing the puja, so that'll be new for us. But then we'll typically, at our CE5, we have a guided meditation that we listen to. It's from the CE5 app, and then we listen to tones and sequences of vibrational tones that are basically, we really would listen to circle tones, but there are others. There are other tones now.
There are new tones now, right? There are new tones.
There's like 5 or 6 different tones, and there are more too that are coming. Different tones, different frequencies. They all kind of vibrate in a frequency, sound frequency that is really meant to, kind of key you in, kind of put you in connection, like the critical mind out of the way, and connect to like your alpha waves. You're like almost in a state where you're not quite asleep, but you are. And just before you go to sleep at night, and you're just sort of feeling like yourself dazing off a little, and like you're getting into the alpha state. And so when that happens, for complete and pure and utter communication with peaceful contact. So what'll happen is, what we do is we key into our coordinates. And then the coordinates are, we telepathically put our coordinates where we are.
And when you say, I was going to say, the coordinates are like, if we're if we're at the apple orchard, that's our coordinates. So telepathically, our coordinates our space brothers and sisters are telepathic. They'll pick that up like instantly, correct?
Exactly. So then what happens is it gives them an opportunity to locate us. And so, because everything is done through telepathy, the communication is all done through telepathy. So practicing, and because this is not just something that happens once at the E5,
Right.
it's to happen all the time for us. So, you know, meditation every day if you can do it. Like, I mean, I always try to find a space. It doesn't, even if I'm at work, I'll try to find a hideaway somewhere. I've even been known to like lock myself in a closet. Seriously, I've been like inside of a dark closet just because I
Oh
want
my
to
gosh.
I want to
Okay.
shut down.
Yeah.
And I did that when my kids were little. You know, my kids were little. I couldn't get away. I couldn't like find a quiet space and like a darkened
Yeah. Yeah.
room.
Yeah.
Just go into my walk-in closet, shut the door, and I set up like a little meditation area in
Yeah.
there. And just like breathe. And a big part of this is breathing and quieting the mind and getting in contact with you. And not like you need to go and get in contact with something outside of you. You're basically getting in contact with you.
And you have to get in contact with you in order to be ready to contact your star family. If you're not in contact with you, right? How are you going to be prepared to be ready for that?
Exactly. Like Kimmy B says, breath work. Absolutely. You need to do breath work. Breath work can do a lot of different things to the body. So we don't work on like prana breathing or anything. We just work on just very relaxed, controlled breathing, not really that, because, you know, with prana sometimes or too much of an elevation of breathing, that can bring you know, heighten you to the point where you're elevated and you don't want to go too high in your elevation. I mean, I feel like you want to raise the vibration, but you don't want to be like jumping out of your skin.
Right.
You know,
Because you can end up doing that if you're not careful, especially
absolutely, absolutely. Prana breathing is so it's so intense. It can make you feel like you're high, like you can run a marathon.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it's extremely effective, fabulous euphoric high, but it can be non-conducive to the CE5. So we definitely want to like control ourselves.
I mean, we don't
So
mind being spaced out, but you know, we want to
it
be
might be
ready
fun
before we're
once in a
spaced out.
while, right?
Right.
So that what we do is we usually gather outside. So at the CE5 at the Dragon's Egg, it's such a beautiful location because it's in the woods in Ledyard. It's a sacred, you know, area, sacred space. It's old. It's Meshutucket Pequot land. We're going to be in a cornfield. We're going to be in a crop field. So we'll be in, you know, there'll be complete darkness around us. We'll have some light, but it's not going to be a tremendous amount.
We're going to, let me explain to you. This is a crop field.
Yeah, it will be in a crop field because the area that the Dragon's Egg is located at is all farmland. And the Dragon's Egg, yeah, so the Dragon's Egg is actually a dance studio. It's a dance studio, and it's the home of the Paper Beasts, which is a performance company. And they
excuse me, sorry about that.
Yeah, that's fine. They allow people to come in, and they will, you know, let people local or, you know, people come in from all over the place and they use the egg, but it's basically one big round, like domed building. So it's set up almost like it reminds me of a spaceship.
Right. Will there be any crops in the field that maybe a crop circle might form?
You know,
I was thinking just now.
You never know because right now everything is like cut down.
Yeah, I got
And
you.
so it's very possible. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've been in that field before in the summertime and it's been like squashed down. But, you know, there are definitely fields out there that
it'd be funny if we're doing this and a crop circle forms in one of the fields where there is some crop and you see the spaceship come down and also the crop circle forms while we're doing the meditation.
Yeah, thank you so
That'd be
much.
wild.
Sometimes me. That's so sweet. That's such a nice comment. Thank you. Yeah, you know what? Anything is possible because we get a group of like-minded people come together who are really concerned about, well, the well-being of the planet, because that
Right.
this is what the CE5 is designed to do. This is a central purpose, is to bring upon our extraterrestrial, hopefully invite them to come and help us with the deliverance of our planet, and
Right.
to like maybe wake up the minds of some of our leaders, to help us to wake up to maybe point zero energy, just to help humanity. We
Yeah.
don't see we don't want to lose the planet. It's just
Oh, we definitely don't want to lose the planet. We need
it's
to elevate
imperative.
it.
And waking up and seeing things all over the place, but when we gather in groups and we have a one idea of, or one potential intention, then amazing things can happen.
Yeah. And it's
So
going to be amazing. How are
yeah.
people? Go
Mhm.
ahead, Grace. I want
Yeah,
to ask you how they can get involved if they're coming from all over the place that are
yeah.
interested in coming to the
So if you
ledger.
guys want to come, to tell you honestly, you can just show up at the CE5, which is, we're actually going to start around 7 p.m. But the Dragon's Egg is located in Ledyard, Connecticut. So you can just either, if you want more information, just I'm going to go to the website. But I was going to mention,
Yeah, go ahead.
while I'm thinking of it, I want to mention that this has got facilities. So it's got, a bathroom, it's got, a kitchen. We're going to have coffee and tea and snacks and water. So it's going to be a nice event. Snacks are welcome if anybody can make some good stuff, and wants to bring it. Brownies are always welcome. Cookies are always welcome. Things like that, just to keep the energy going. If you want to bring sandwiches, whatever it is you feel you bring. But the egg is, I'm going to go to the website and then I'm going to give you guys the website so you can find out more information, but it's called dragonseggstudio.org. So
That's dragoneggstudio.org. So
Dragon's
if you're
Egg.
coming from the Northeast
Yeah.
area or you really want to come out here, wherever you're coming from, realize that there will be information you get about accommodations in the area. And Ledger does have accommodations in the area, or staying at the Dragon's Egg. There'll be information on how, I guess, Grace, they can contact the person who might facilitate some accommodations for people that are coming from a distance.
Yeah, so if this is not a hotel like facility or
Right.
Airbnb, but you can, it has been known to host companies, and people can sleep in the loft overnight or for a night or two, but you have to connect to the proprietor, and her name is Myra. And I gotta give you if you go to Dragon's Egg, and I put it in the comments too, you can,
Asking how long does it last?
yeah, you definitely can bring space cakes.
And they're also asking you, Grace. Sometimes it's me is saying approximately how long does this whole thing last,
The
or how long will it last?
CE5, well, like I mentioned, I mean, Dr. Greer's team goes out like 5 to 7 days. I mean, I, for one, could stay out all hours of the night,
Yeah,
but
you could.
I kind of put a cap on it. I was like, we're going to start at 7. The sun goes down. By that time, the sun will be going down probably about 6, 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then we'll probably wind out around 11 or 12,
Hmm.
depending on, how people are. Some people want to like head out early, but I want to say do the entire protocol. And then when feel like we're, done, then we'll be done,
And the thing is, if they get with Myra permission to stay overnight, because it is going to be on a Saturday night, if you're coming from afar, realize you're not going to, you'll be, if you make the arrangement, you'll be able to bring a sleeping bag, I guess, and hunker down for the night. And, so it's going to be a very beautiful experience. And I would encourage people to, keep in touch with Grace. Let Grace know if you're interested. Contact her on here on TikTok, and let her know, Grace, I'm interested in coming. It's going to be a Saturday, the 20th of April, at the Dragon's Egg .org is the website, correct?
Yeah, Dragon's Egg Studio.
Studio.org. I'm sorry.
dragonseggstudio.org. And then if anybody's interested and wants to talk to Myra about like potential accommodations, you can go to mybeasts at AOL.com. So my like beasts, BEASTS at AOL.com. And you can leave a message from Myra. Just tell her you're attending my Skywatch event. And it's basically called the New London County Skywatch and CE5 event. And it's in their calendar. So if you go to the website, the dragonseggstudio.org, you can go to the calendar and you'll see the event there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone's saying, Katrina's saying TikTok is having glitching issues today, but hopefully you can all see Grace and me pretty good here. We'll have to bring the Ashtar Command to strain out the technicalities on TikTok if that continues. But do that. I mean, it's going to be great to see a lot of people. On the 13th, we don't have accommodations, although we're going to be really roughing it out. Well, not roughing it out, but we're going to be in Durham, Connecticut at a place called Nords. And we'll be doing a C5 on the 13th. That'll start around 8 o'clock. We're going to go live on TikTok. And I'll have more information before April as to how that's going to work, because that's going to be a little bit different, although it is still the C5. Something supposedly, I'll have more information about this. I'm going to bring April up here in a little bit, and too. And I just want to, and Grace, you can stick around. You don't have to go anywhere, do you?
Yeah. So guys, somebody in the chat said what day. So I want to just clarify, guys, it's April 20th at 7 p.m. And that's a Saturday night.
It'll be an evening. Zilla, it's going to be an evening event. Yes.
Yeah.
They both will be.
Yes, it'll be in the evening, 7 p.m. It's the dragonseggstudio.org, and that's in Ledyard, Connecticut. And
yes,
it's very well.
Pooping and Scrolling. Pooping and Scrolling, what a name. April 20th for Pooping and... Hey, look, that's an original name. No one has that name. As long as you're not pooping at the C5, you're good. I'm just kidding you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you know how they say, what do they say? The yellow mellows and the
aren't we all? They say, aren't we all? That's actually true, isn't it? I do have a sense of humor.
I mean, it's really if anything, visiting the site of the Dragon's Egg is really cool, because it's a beautiful, it's a performance hall, so it's an opportunity to get in touch with performance, artists, and I love that. And they have a lot of events at the Egg too, all the time. But the CE5, it was interesting because she was like, I don't usually like to schedule events in the evening on the weekends. And I was like, oh, please. I mean, I've known her for probably 25 years.
Perfect.
And I was like, please, because I'm going to be doing this 4 times a year.
Right.
And I want to, and then that night, I think if we have time, I'm going to set up sound bowls and play the sound bowls too.
Oh, great. Sound bowls may be good.
Yeah, to just kind of like, in the beginning of the event, and then kind of like kick off the event with the sound bowls, which are incredible for raising vibration and, tuning in.
Yeah.
So it's really fun. It's just the whole thing. It's, to me, I feel like, as an individual, I've always wanted to do something for the planet. And, I always thought, well, I'm so small. I'm just this one person. What can I do for the planet? I mean, I can pick up garbage on the street, help somebody who's hungry, or maybe make a donation. But I really felt like I wanted to, or personally was called to do something that was bigger. And when I started getting involved with the CE5s, and I started doing CE5s in Florida, and I did them myself in my lanai. And Yeah. And Rich would come and join me and we would do C5s together. So it started out with just me. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, I am. I am. Lavola asked me if I was vegan, and I'm like, I'm a vegetarian, so I don't really eat meat, and so I try to do the best I can. It's not really because I have a problem with meat. I just do better physically
Yeah.
when I
And
don't.
that's a good reason, right? That's a good
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, the dragonseggstudio.org and the event is April 20th and it starts at 7 p.m. and it has
Right.
facilities, so you're not going to have to like worry about going in the woods to the bathroom. You can
Mhm.
like, if you have to go to the restroom, you can take a break, you can. Yeah, Zilla, that's absolutely true. I mean, I always think like I live like in a city and so there's always nips all over the place. So I have this thing where I like just can't believe people throw
Right.
nips all over the ground, you know?
Right.
So I basically I'll walk through the city and pick up the nips or pick up soda containers
Right.
and things like, give me a break.
Right. You're conscious of everything because you don't come from this planet. You look at the earth and say, why would people do this? And that's really what like we see things, we want to make the place beautiful, right?
Here we are as a collective group, right? And everyone knows this in the chat, right? We're trying to like really do something for the planet, save our planet from ourselves. And you've
Yeah.
got people out there who they're just totally disconnected from it. They just don't
Yeah.
understand. And there are some people on one level of understanding and another, many on different levels of understanding.
Right.
So, I'm okay with that too. It's like, listen, I'm going to leave them where they are, and I'm going to just put myself in my own, bubble.
Right.
And,
That's right.
you know, and then I meet other people in the bubbles that are very similar. So,
Yeah. And the
but
bubbles that know the bubbles get along with the other bubbles that are here to change and cosmically transform the planet in their cosmic bubble.
absolutely.
It's a good thing.
And you're so interesting because like Dan and Maya started the Dragon's Egg probably over 25 years ago, I would say, maybe even more. And they got resistance from the community. They did not like because they built this from the ground up.
Wow.
It's a very large facility, like it's a nice large studio big enough for a dance team to come in from New York and practice, like some Broadway
Yeah.
acts come out here and they do that, because they have dance bars all around the windows. So the place is
Oh, wow.
fully windowed. So if we had to do the C5 indoors, we could do it.
What happens if the egg starts to elevate off the ground and instead it turns into a spaceship intergalactically? That's a possibility, but you never know, right? I'm just
It
thinking
is
out of the
very
box here.
true. Hi,
You know,
Victor. It is so true. It is so
it could happen.
I know, and so Dan and Maya were proprietors. They're the ones that came up with the idea. It's fully funded. It's like crowdsourced and funded,
Right.
and so they got really major pushback. And like for me, it was my kids loved going to the Dragon's Egg because it was such a place of freedom for them. The very energy of the building and the space is super creative, and that's why I feel like it's going to be a great opportunity for us to do the C5s. And the C5s are new to the Dragon's Egg.
Well, it won't be new after you start doing them. This is the beautiful thing about this is the Encounter Show, the late night spiritual UFO talk show. My guest is Grace, who's also with our Ashtar Command C5 group. So so we're all kind of merged in it, even though we have a different name. We're all work together here. So the beautiful thing is you've taken the ball and you took the lead with that ball and you've got the creation of something. I can't wait to go there. I'm looking forward to this. I think you facilitated a frequency shift there that you're able to do this 4 times a year at that location. I think there's going to be some phenomenal C5s that will interact with us on a very Christed cosmic level. I think it's really going to be interesting.
To feel like the intention of the egg itself, like their mission is to have a environmentally conscious space, which
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which is extended to the community and throughout the community. So I feel that that's right in line with what we, because you have to have a space that you can get permission. You can't just go plop somewhere unless you live somewhere up north and there's
Right.
country everywhere, and you could just plop there and
Plop there.
maybe you're lucky you won't have any
Yeah.
interference. But I know around here it's difficult. You have to have people who are you have to have permission.
Yeah.
Like when we went to the beach last year, we had to get permission, otherwise we were going to get locked in.
And we ended up having a great location at the beach. We'll be going there again this year. We're going to be doing a lot of C5s, as Grace knows. Chesno, who's here, he's in our C5 group. We do some really wonderful C5s, folks, if you're all over the world. And you can do and learn how to get together where you are. But we have really a solid group here in New England of C5 people. Some of them are Ashtar Command people with our Ashtar group. And we really know what we're looking at, what we know, when we're making contact with space people. We're always doing Christ of Meditation with Dr. Greer's app that facilitates that ability to bring in the beauty of what's happening in the Punja. What Grace is doing to me will be a wonderful experience. And so we only operate our C5s, and they should be, any C5 should be operated in the highest level of Christ consciousness, because that will facilitate the interaction, whether it be visually a spaceship or what you call a UFO or spaceship that is positive with beings on it. As that you do C5, what you're doing is you're building a relationship with your star family, with star people, and you're saying it's okay, the good ones. We're not going to be using Air Force jets to go chasing you. We're here to facilitate final contact with you. That has been, we've been waiting to do this for a very long time. And it's, I think people need to understand the importance of what is happening here in Connecticut and in New England, really in New England. And I'm not, I know there are things happening all over the place and they're increasing, but we've seen in New England, and Grace can show this with your video that you had about the Boston thing. I want to mention something about that, that there's increased activity in New England of spaceship activity that's happening above us. Now, can I tell you why that's happening? The only thing I will tell you is that things are amping up all over the planet. The vibrational patterns of the Earth are now increasing tenfold. You can feel it if you are if you're wondering how you're feeling as a human being here watching this show. You yourself know that something's up. You yourself know that you're feeling something energy that's coming to you. It's coming from the sun's burst, from the solar storms. That's affecting your spiritual energy, your cosmic energy, whatever you want to call it. Your cellular structure is being affected. And Grace, would you say that's true for you? Whatever you want to call it, your cellular. What's going on?
Hello?
Are you hearing me?
I don't know. I just got a phone call.
Oh, you did? Oh, that's what was happening.
Sorry.
Okay.
It just interrupted the broadcast. Sorry.
That's okay. I was saying that the cosmic energy from the sun is affecting our whole energy field. Everybody, I was saying every people in the room, you're going to start feeling that energy increasing wherever you are in the world watching this. This is what you were saying, Grace, earlier about it's getting centered into yourself, center into yourself. And as you center into yourself, you can prepare yourself when we're doing a C5 to be prepared for that positive interaction. I was saying, how, we're not, we're saying we're beings of like our star family to interact with us. And we want it to be a very protective space where they can feel, comfortable coming. And we're not going to be sending Air Force jets out to go after them, when they get here. Hi, here you are. Here we go. It's very different. Very different.
Absolutely. And
really
somebody
is.
said, "Oh, are you selling a seminar or something?" I said in the comments, and no, this is a free CE5 event. I mean, I am going to say the Dragon's Egg. I'm going to have to. I'm leasing the place for the night. It's not very
Right.
expensive, but it would be lovely if people would consider donating something,
Right. I mean, that's fair
whatever you
enough.
can. Only because the thing is, I know after 3 hours or so, I need a facility. I've been racking my brain thinking, where can I go that I can, have a facility and be comfortable, and if I need a drink of water or something, and I need to get in from outdoors, because
Right.
if you are not, yeah, no, it's not a retreat. It's a CE5 event. I don't know
Right.
if you're
We're not.
new
Yeah.
here, Alexis, but we do the
I'll
CE5s
be,
of five
I'll be right
events.
back. You keep
Yeah, no
talking.
problem. We do the CE5 events that are based off of the Dr. Stephen Greer protocol. It's an app called CE5 that you can download on your phone, and you can find out about all of the protocol. Nice to meet you. And all the protocol that takes place in order to facilitate a CE5, which is basically communication with peaceful ETs to help facilitate a help with our planet. I mean, it's all about literally getting help for the world, for
Yeah.
our Earth. And so we follow the protocol. We have events up here in New England. I actually met Commander on TikTok, and I got involved with the CE5 events here through the Commander. And I had my own healing experience one night last year that I did a testimony about on my TikTok homepage, and I was healed from an autoimmune disease.
Wow.
And recently, and I have blood work to prove it. I mean, I talked to my doctor about it and told her the whole story, and she was like, Grace, you're an inspiration. And I said, well, you know what? It's all about intention. You know,
Right. It is.
what
It's
your
intention.
intention is, and when you're put your intention specifically out there, anything, amazing things can happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of amazing things, we're going to keep Grace on here, and I'm going to see if we can bring Fenswood Ferry up here. Is she here?
Commander,
Oh,
I'm
she was
just
here
going to take
before.
a break. I'm going to put the camera. It was my neighbor that called me, and they
Oh, go
check
ahead.
on
Go ahead.
something. So I'm just going to go
Do,
pause for a
yeah.
second, and I'll be back.
Yeah. No, no problem.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm going to see if April's here. April was here. April, are you around here somewhere? Let's see if I saw April saying hello to people. April, are you still here, Friends with Furries? Make a comment. I don't even see. She might be busy doing something at the moment. We'll find out. Or she could be back on the ship. We're going to get into some stuff. So I will bring you a drive with my pictures. Oh, very, very, very cool there. Very cool. Oh, okay. I'll bring Zilla up, here. Bring Zilla up here. Hopefully, Friends and Furries will be back. We'll find out. Hey, Zilla, how you doing,
Good.
brother?
How are you?
We're doing good here. We are having a great start to the night here on Encounters. And Zilla's another one of my friends. He's up in Maine. So we have a lot of I have a feeling a lot of people will be coming down to Ledyard. And like I said, people need to get in touch with the facility there if they're going to be staying overnight. So there are some accommodations, but the Maya is the one they need to contact regarding that. But go ahead, Zilla. Good evening. How you doing?
I'm wonderful. I've actually been seeing a lot of the same style ships that April's been getting.
Oh,
The
okay.
greenish, reddish, flashing plasma ships.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Interesting.
Nothing's like really made contact, but I've just seen them buzzing around. But I mean, I see ships pretty much every night, as you know.
Well, you do, yeah. You see them constantly.
So
So L1 and Z1, we're having the C5 at the Dragon's Egg. Um, it's gonna be in Ledyard. And I'll when Grace comes back, I'll have her mention it again. But you can also contact Grace directly through TikTok for people that are interested in coming. Also, she'll tell you how to contact if you want to stay overnight. There'll be some ability to stay there, and though I think there's a loft or something where people can bring their sleeping bags and hunker down. So yeah, you'll want to do that.
Uh, uh,
I'll be definitely there myself.
I'll be crashing for sure. That's a long drive.
It's a long drive for me. Yeah, it is. And I've been to Ledyard, and I know it's a lot of farms out there beyond the casino. It is really mostly farmland, so this is going to be very interesting. And I know Zilla, for folks watching this, he's up in Maine. He's been on our show many times. He constantly sees different spaceships where he is up in Maine. So it's pretty. We have a lot of activity now in general, not just Maine, but like I said, the Boston area. Grace will talk about that story when she gets back. She posted a video about it that air traffic, air pilots, commercial airline pilots, are talking about
I
saying
saw that.
uh, that actually happened just recently. I think it was a couple of days ago, maybe less than a week ago.
Hi
Grace, you
guys.
want to talk? Hey, Grace, hold on. You want to talk about that video that you posted regarding the airline pilots and the what
Oh
happened?
yeah, they were flying from Boston, Mass to Pennsylvania. I think it was Hydenville, Pennsylvania they were heading towards.
Okay.
And the pilot called in a UFO maneuvering in front of the plane. And he said that the UFO
Wow.
took a complete and utter like swift position, like went like it was heading towards him and then it turned around. And he said
Wow.
the way that it turned so fast that he said that a pilot who was piloting the plane probably would have died.
The G-force would kill him for
Yep,
sure.
it was it. So on the video, it's on my TikTok page. His call to ground the tower, the
Yeah.
control tower. The
Yeah.
control tower rep was saying, well, it was probably another plane because there was one plane coming one direction and one plane above him on a higher altitude. And the pilot said, no way, this was no way a plane.
No.
Which
No. Not like.
yeah, sorry, Commander. They don't, pilots typically won't report this kind of thing because they're always doubted. But now
Yeah.
with disclosure and all of this taking place nowadays, it's definitely changing.
Yeah. It is.
So,
That's
So,
amazing that the pilot actually went public.
Commander,
ab-
did I tell you about when I was outside talking to them out loud, and my girlfriend comes running around the corner like, "Who are you talking to?" And I was like, "The UFOs," and she's like, "I've been talking to your mom, and we're gonna have you committed."
Yeah, I remember that
Well,
story.
I found out that I was recording that whole thing that night, and I have a
Oh,
55
really?
minute video. There's no noise, but you can see everything. The UFOs get
Yeah.
into formation, start spinning in circles and shooting across the sky, and then
Wow.
pulsating to the music I was playing. And they started making
Wow.
sacred geometry shapes all around the ships, and everything like went to black. And then it just like came back in a flash. And I have that
Wow.
on tape, and I'm gonna put that on the that drive for you. I just recently
Oh, good.
discovered it. I was just looking through my old videos. Like, what is this? Because I was running out of
Yeah.
drive space, and I was like, "This is a long one. Let me see what it is." And then I just watched it, and I realized I was recording. I just sat it down and forgot I was
Yeah.
recording. So I have that,
Wow.
and it's plain as day. It's like a side view of my garage, and you can just like
Yeah.
the angle's perfect. You can see everything. There's no noise though.
Yeah, and just no noise. I'm interested. Yeah, and just like people know, Zilla has documented and recorded in Maine constantly. He's in a patterned area where a lot of stuff is happening. Grace, I know where she is. I know she sees things up in the southeastern part of the state. Where I am here, I don't get out much. I will be getting out more now. We're getting warmer out. I'll be out there in the field, with my live when we get together, so we can actually show you if we are seeing any starships, what I call our space brothers and sisters with their ships, we will document it. We're going to see. So we have some beautiful things that are going to be happening here, not only on the ground level, but things that we're going to, broadcast encounters, and we want to document anything that we see that's going to be happening come April, and that's just the beginning of it.
Yeah, we have two cool events coming up on the 13th and the 20th. So if you guys are interested, we're going to stream them live. If you're somebody, so we're gonna is that Zilla? Do you have a TV on or something?
Yeah. Hold on.
TV
Let me turn that down.
Like
But
I'm having trouble focusing. So I can
sorry
hear
about
it.
that. Hold on
Yeah.
1 second. Sue, my videos, a lot of my content is messed with, so they don't let me upload a lot of things. If you look at my page, you'll see what I'm talking about. Look for the still photos, because you can see I wrote text on it. And you read the text on the uploads.
Yeah. So if you guys are concerned about okay, so somebody in the comments said something about calling them in is one thing and getting rid of them is another. So this is the key, guys. You're just sitting in there, doing your own willy-nilly type of calling in, then
Right.
you're not really following. There's no real organized sequence that's taking place. And so about us having, number one, a group that's safe, that all have good intentions. I mean, if you show up at this E5 drinking and smoking and, all over the
Right.
map, you're not going to be welcome in.
Nope.
You have to come
Not happening.
respectfully. You have to come in with good intentions. And the idea is we're not looking to do anything regarding paranormal. We don't
Nope.
want phenomenon. We're just looking to connect to our space brothers and sisters that will assist us in the peaceful contact and to assist us with helping us and to guide us to, a better planet condition overall.
Right. That's right.
It's like, yeah, you could, people are playing games with the dimensions, they're calling in, and I worked in the paranormal field for many years. I have a lot of friends who do this type of work, and they do it on high levels. It's not just, just your, let's go do a paranormal investigation one day.
Right.
It's like these people do this for a living. They're professionals. And, the thing is, I'm not saying I know everything, but I do know the parameters around that kind of thing.
Right. She knows.
And you guys have to understand that when you make the invitation, it has to be done in a precise manner. If you're inviting and just by your emotions,
Right.
then what happens is your emotions, if you don't have control of them and control of your spiritual constitution, it can be potentially willy-nilly and dangerous.
Right. And it's like when they say this person over, they were saying, well, how do you get rid of them? First of all, just that comment is that person needs to think about what C5 is, what meditating in Christ consciousness is, how to facilitate knowing that who you're communicating with. One of the biggest things I teach, and Grace would agree with me on this, is that when you do C5, it's going to be at the highest levels. There's no paranormal stuff, none of that stuff. We don't even touch it. Everything we do is very focused, very disciplined, and there's no hiking pank. We don't have people coming around smoking cigarettes, drinking a bottle of liquor during C5, or vaping during C5. If you're coming to C5, you're coming for visual contact and the potential of direct contact. That's what C5 is.
Yeah.
If you're coming thinking it's a free-for-all to do whatever I want, this is just really groovy. No, it's not a do your own thing.
Exactly.
There's no, that's right. There's no hanky-panky. We're very professional at what we do. We're very cosmically spiritual in what we do, and we want to bring the best contact to our family, and we don't want to have any garbage either coming our way from off planet or even from on planet. So it's going to be a beautiful experience. But the thing is, you have to realize if you're coming, you have to understand what our protocol is and what that's going to be like when you come. You have to just, whatever you got at home going, you got to either learn how to get rid of it, leave it alone, and come clear and come with the intention of unconditional love, understanding, and having an experience that will potentially be out of this world in a very beautiful way. That's really the essence
Absolutely.
of what
It's
we're
so
doing.
true, Commander. I mean, if you have taken the time to download the app and pay the $10 for the one-time fee to download the app, believe me, I'm not doing this for anybody to make any sales
Right.
or earn money doing this. It's really because I was saying it earlier. I wanted to do something more. I wanted to, bring about something. I care about the planet. I have children. I've always been a humanitarian. I'm interested in us living in a more peaceful way. I'd like to see us not have to pay to live on the earth. There are so many factors that need to attention at this point, and no one seems to be listening. There are people who are out there that are trying, but as far as I'm concerned, this to me was like a no-brainer. But if you take the time to look at the app and skim through it, they will discuss the background of ET contact and the phases of contact.
Right,
So
their phases, yeah.
ET contact is undertaken using the CE5 protocol. CE5 stands for Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. Unlike more passive CE1 and CE4 experiences, a close encounter of the fifth kind is human initiated.
Right.
This app provides instructions and tools to assist you in making peaceful contact with extraterrestrial civilizations, as well as locating others in your area who are interested in making contact. And then it goes on and on to describe what happens with the CE5 protocol and the specific tones that are played and the deep states of consciousness and awareness. So if you practice CE5 with positive, peaceful intentions and your progress with meditation improves, you will find it becoming more increasingly effective, and both individually and in a group setting.
And I also want to mention Alexis GTGT is asking me, can you define Christ consciousness and I think ways for us? You say you are on it all day, I think all the time, but don't say what it is. So I'm going to explain that. I think that's important too as we're talking about this, Grace. So when I talk about Christ consciousness here on Encounters, I want to get into that. Thank you, Grace. Thank you for the pumped up. So when I talk about Christ consciousness, I'm not talking about earth-based religion, which is the religious Christ thing. I'm talking about cosmically Christ consciousness. Christ consciousness is a state of being. It means that when you operate the way Jesus did as a star being, because he is a star being, Jesus was a Christed being. Jesus, the Christ, was a Christed being of light that came from beyond earth. And he came here to bring that essence. And I'm giving a non-3D understanding of Jesus because that's important to know what Christ consciousness is. So I'm going to teach people a little bit here. Christ consciousness is when you completely rid yourself of all the 3D belief systems that you've had on this planet. Everything. Just consciousness, all the things you were taught to believe it to be true. When you operate in Christ consciousness, you're operating in such a high intensity of understanding of spiritual light cosmically that there's nothing around you that can affect you any day, any night, any minute, any time. It makes no difference. So when I say, I talk about the Astral Command, for example. Astral Command represents all the spiritual planets of light that work in Christ consciousness. Every single planet beyond Earth that is operating in that consciousness. The space people and their families on these other planets operate in a vibrational pattern of Christ consciousness. So Christ consciousness is not going to a church and saying, hello there, Jesus, here I am. No, we are all, once we realize it, we all can be operating in Christ consciousness. We can all be the Christ consciousness. We are all connected to the Christ consciousness. And when you operate in that mode, there's nothing negative that can ever happen to you, no interactions that can be affecting you, because you're operating in the highest state of frequency or vibrational patterns, which is Christ consciousness. Now, how do you get there? You start by going within. I think your question is, how do we get there? So you have to go within. Meditation is the key. Centering yourself. And when you center yourself in that frequency of what I call Christ consciousness, when you meditate, you say, I am a Christed being of light. I will operate in Christ consciousness. Once you realize you can do that, then when you go out and have your C5 events, wherever you are, learn how to do C5, or, get yourself prepared for the day that there is contact with our star family. You are now operating not just as a regular human being, because you're not a regular human being, you're now operating in a Christ consciousness. Okay? So hopefully that answers the question. It's really important for me to share this, because even though I do this show,
Can I add
we
too
have
when you're done?
yeah, when I'm done, yeah. When we talk about this, I tell all my friends, you can have all the sightings in the world, but you've got to make sure that you don't have beings coming to you that are of lower vibration just because they have a spaceship. You need to separate yourself from those beings. And I tell people this all the time. If I meet them and they tell me the experiences, I will help them learn how to do that. Because some people work from all over the place, but that's not what you want to do. You want to make distinct differences of who you're connecting with. If you don't, that's not good. You need to make sure you're contacting only the highest Christed beings of light when you have contact. And if you're not, then you need to be helped. And there are people here like myself, Grace, and some others that can help you around the world. We can help you learn the differences between lower vibrational ETs and spiritual Christed beings of light. You need to know the difference. If you don't, you need to ask some people that can help. And that's part of what this encounter show is about. It's not just about hearing stories. We've heard people's abduction stories. We've heard people's beautiful stories. And then the people talk about the abductions, then that's what we need to help them learn how to stop it. Learn how to elevate themselves in protection of cosmic Christed frequencies of light. That's one of the key things I teach people, and that's really important. But go ahead, Zilla.
So yeah, he's speaking the truth. Because the beginning of my awakening, I was attacked by some dark ETs before I knew how to protect my energy and reach a certain level of consciousness. But January 18th, I actually met Sonata, and he came to me in my yard. A huge flying lion came down and transformed into Jesus. So apparently we have a direct contact. So my spirit animal's a lion, and it's just so many synchronicities just like came together at that moment. But doing gematria and stuff. But everybody can reach that level of consciousness, and they have a chance to do so once a month by when the moon goes into your sun sign. If you start fasting the day before and fast until it goes out, and that's what they call carrying your cross. You have to make a sacrifice to get to this level of consciousness. One of the first things that happened for me once they started communicating with me is they hit me with this like violet beam of light, and for 3 days I was throat singing, and my girlfriend and my roommate were like, why are you doing that? And I was like, I don't know, and I can't stop. I did it until I lost my voice. But that's how they taught me to communicate telepathically, because when they show themselves to you, they'll have like a purple corkscrew coming out of their head, and that's them trying to communicate telepathically, and you have to find their frequency. And that's
is that what happened? Is that what happened to you? I mean, that's kind of an interesting analogy. When you say purple corkscrew, you don't mean a real corkscrew. You're talking about
it's just like energy coming out of their forehead.
An energy.
Yeah. So it looks like a purple corkscrew is what I call it, the purple corkscrew. But if like they don't speak the same language as you, they can communicate in your head at the same language.
Right.
So they'll put this thing up, and so like I didn't understand the throat singing thing at first, but I can move that vibration up and down from my, my sacral up to my throat, and it's when I get it up in my throat, like in my nasal, it vibrates my crown. But once you hit their frequency, you can see the connections start happening. And I mean, my experience.
I know your
It's
your
been a
experiences have
wild
been.
one, fast one, but it's
It's been a real
amazing.
trip for him.
It's amazing.
Zilla's had a lot of experiences, folks, on encounters up in Maine. He's in a central energy point that I believe is sort of like a cosmic doorway, and it is. Where you are, over the time period, I find it, as I analyzed your stories in my head, he's in a I think there's probably a triangle, like a cosmic galactic doorway where he is. So therefore, the space pings can come in and out act like a doorway. He lives in the country, and where he is, there's a lot of activity up there. Always. Hey, Naked Hanger. Good evening.
It's the Earth's energy grids are opening up, so that's part of why I'm here, is to lock down this grid, because I had to get rid of those dark things that were in this area.
You got rid of them, right?
Yeah,
Finally...
absolutely. Nothing.
Yeah.
Those things were terrorizing my neighbors. Like everybody's, it was pretty wild over here for a minute, but yeah.
But now he's got the Christ consciousness thing happening, where he's not having it because he realized what was happening, and he was stopped to it. So that's the thing. When you become a more spiritually inclined to the Christ consciousness, then you can stop those other ETs from coming into the perimeter of your energy field, and that's really important.
So if you saw David Eckhart's videos of that black thing taking over him, that same type of thing came into my house and tried getting in me, and it couldn't. I told it, you can't do anything to me because I'm with God, and it got frustrated, and my roommate that was staying with me at the time, it definitely took a hold of him, and I've explained all this to you, but that was like the beginning of me getting rid of them. But when that happened, it like pushed me against my bed, and I was also having like low vibing zetas that would just come into my house, and I had a Draco that was around here causing some mayhem, and after
you got rid of all those.
All those are gone.
Right.
Nothing can. They can't even think about coming around now, because I literally have like 50 ships with me at all times. I have certain ones that I can call down through the clouds that will come to me, and yeah, it's amazing. Every time I walk outside at night and the sky's clear, like I have one that just flies right by, like slow and low. Hey, we're here with you, buddy. It's like, it's an awesome feeling. And they're the ones here that I've had videos of cleaning the chemtrails out of the sky. I have a video of them being attacked by some other craft, but it didn't like really work out for that other craft. I tried uploading it, but it's all grainy and
someone is asking. I'm also reading comments. Lilac 911. How do you protect yourself? How you protect yourself is that you learn to operate in Christ consciousness. You say, as I said, very simple things like, I am a Christ, the being of light. So when you're asking, how do I protect yourself from lower vibrational beings, you have to put a bubble of light around wherever you are, your house, your apartment, your condo, whether you live in a camper, a trailer, or whatever. When you do that, when you actually people do that who are watching this, you will actually never, ever have any negative ET experiences. Now, let me also preface this too. It's really important to know that we're going into a different vibrational pattern on the Earth right now. The whole universe is going into a different vibrational pattern. What does it mean? That means that if there are any negative ETs out there on the planet, they're going to be kicked off the planet. They're not going to be able to stay here. How do I know this? I'm working with the Ashtar Command. I work directly with the Ashtar Command, and they're right now doing a cleanup of the planet very quietly, where these other beings that might be trying to stay here will not be able to do it, because the ones that are of the lower vibrational ETs are not able to uplift their frequencies to where the humanity is going. The humanity is going into a different space. All the planets in our solar system are going into a higher vibrational pattern. Every planet in the solar system, every planet in our galaxy, every planet in our universe. It's all happening everywhere simultaneously, including here on Earth. So how you protect yourself? You learn to operate in Christ consciousness. And if you can do that, you'll find yourself being able to be elevated to a place in your consciousness, in your body vibrational frequency, where you will not be affected by anything around you other than more positivity. And that will be the key.
The change has definitely started. I don't know if any of you have noticed, but the sky's turning yellow. So you guys are gonna go outside soon, and the sky's gonna be yellow, and you're gonna see the purple aura of trees. And I said this over almost a year ago, and people laughed at me, but it's slowly happening. This change is slowly happening, but people will see soon enough.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on, and I just want people to know. People won't notice the air. Victor says, there's a lot of things happening rapidly now, folks. Hey, Levitt, good to see you. As things continually, every day change, every moment, every minute, you're going to see all this happening within you. Every person here who watches my show, you're going to see changes happening within you. You have to be prepared. It's just really crucial now, as we get close to what's going to happen between now and 2027, that people get prepared for contact. And it's coming. It's coming in a big way. It's not coming because somebody channeled it on Facebook or on YouTube. It's coming because it's going to happen. It's divine timing. I've been in tune with this since 2022, and I've felt the energy starting to increase. And you just have to be ready. And if you have any questions about contact, you can ask me on the show. If you've had anybody out here who wants to come on and you want to share your story, we'll bring you on. We'll open it up to you and bring people on like we did last night. And we'll try to do one-on-one interviews like I did last night. I tend to not want to do multiple interviews on the same thing, because then it's kind of hard to do it that way. It's certainly something where you need to tell me, though, what you want to talk about in terms of this realm. Our conversations here on Encounters are about UFO sightings, disclosure, visitations from space people. It could be crop circles. It could be fairies. It could be, hello, Monique. It could be fairies. It could be the Bigfoot. Those things are we talk. No paranormal discussion whatsoever here. The other thing I want you to know, very importantly, is this is the protocol of the show. No vaping, no smoking, no drugs, no drinking. If you're coming on, you have to throw that stuff out the window or in the garbage, because this is a show and we want people to come on, clearly conscious of what they're doing. The other thing is no foul language. So if you come on here, it's foul language. You have to be over 18, no kids on the screen, none of that stuff. And pretty much that's it, I think. I always keep thinking I'm leaving something out, but I think that's really about it. So we have a very high quality program here. I'm on the radio for 21 years on NPR radio. I do a show called Ashtar Command Radio. So some of the new people might not even know, but my background's broadcasting. I've done TV and radio for years. So when I came here, I took my concept of that to bring on Encounters, because there was nothing like this here. And, I'm glad I did. Now there's an actual show that's real. We don't go running around in clown outfits with a disco ball light in our ceiling. We don't do any of those crazy things here. That's why this show has attracted so many people, because we are actually doing a show where we're interviewing individual people from all over the world regarding their experiences. And that's really, really key. Poopin' and Scrolling says, I have a question. If God created everything, wouldn't consciousness include the bad ones? Not necessarily. Well, yeah, there would be bad ones. I'm going to answer that question. So everything God creates initially is pure. On Earth, what happens is over time, we disconnected from the Creator. And as we disconnected, man created his own religions. Man created his own power. Man created his own ego on the planet, and therefore the Earth had all these problems for billions of years. Now, there have been times in our Earth history where we were very advanced. We had interaction with space people. And then we had other times where it was like a roller coaster going down below the roller coaster, and we had no contact. Things got really bad. We had Atlantis, Lemuria, the land of Mu. We have things like in Tibet, the Agartha network, and the inner Earth civilizations. All of that exists. But in our history, and God creates life everywhere in the multiverse, it doesn't start out negative. Just individual planetary systems, when they disconnect from that source of light, end up doing things that they normally would not do. And that's something people need to know. And I think Grace wants to say something. Grace, go ahead.
Hey, I just wanted to join you and give you the support. I know I went off the planet for a second there, but I wanted
John.
to just lend the support, because it's absolutely true, everything that you say, and I'm 100% behind you in that. I definitely, it's a state of mind. It's like walk the talk. If you're going to talk about it, walk the talk, walk in the path that is laid before you. And no, that we were talking about God just now.
Right.
I mean, God, when you have Commander, I hear this Commander saying this too a lot. If you have a bad thought, throw it out. Right. So if God, had some rebellious angels or some rebellious, spirits, basically God threw them out. And so, the legend, as legend says, right. And, you can go down the rabbit hole on that, but, ultimately, when you have a bad thought or a negative, thought that passes through your mind into your, thought pattern, throw the thing out, let it pass by like a parade. Don't hang on to it, because that's what sort of takes you off course. And having a purpose and a place to center yourself, whether it be peace on earth. For me, Zilla was talking about one way. I, for one, am an artist, and the way I found my connection was through my art. So everyone has their own kind of method of connecting to their inner source, inner being, the inside of you. We're created, we're connected to the creator that has created worlds and universes, So you think about that on that level. It's not that difficult to say, I can get in touch with that. God doesn't live outside of us. And
that's right.
So God threw out the negative energies. Thank you, Tiffany. Basically, we could do too. Because we're God too. We're part of God.
Yeah, we're totally part of God.
I'd like to add to that. So you saying that what we think we create, it might not manifest right in front of you. It's manifesting somewhere in the cosmos. So all these bad things, a lot of them have been manifested by our subconscious, because so many people are asleep. But their subconscious isn't. They know something's wrong. So in their sleeping state of unawareness, there's fear going on, because they know something's wrong. Your subconscious never sleeps. So they know a lot of these things have been manifested by collectively our while asleep.
And humans have on this planet, you're watching Encounters, the late night spiritual UFO show. And this is part of a discussion we have on Encounters. We're not just a nuts and bolts show. We have to talk about this. If we're just talking about, that spaceship was like a heavy metal looking ship that looked like a pencil, who cares? That's not important. What's important is, when we talk about these things, you have to realize that we live on a planet with billions of human beings on Earth. With so many people on here, there are people that let's take Hollywood, for example. All these movies that come out every year, from the 40s all the way up now, there are movies that are so negative and so much projecting lower vibrational thought patterns in people that you end up projecting sometimes those things in what you see. You might have nightmares or whatever, but if you are operating and throw that garbage out the window, and I call it the garbage, you throw it out the window and you say, well, I can't throw that out the window. I like that garbage. You throw that garbage out the window, then you clean house. You clean your inner house, which is your inner temple. Your body is your temple. When you realize it's your cosmic temple, that is where the contact will happen with our star family. But you have to clean out your house internally, or else you're not going to have the contact because you're all messed up. You have to, and let's be honest, there are people on this planet that are messed up because they've absorbed so much stuff from our planet, from TV shows, news media, this, that, and everything else, that you don't know which way to turn. And that's why you have encounters, because we're here to say, we're going to bust the matrix. We're going to challenge your belief systems, and we're going to say, we want to help you. If you had a sighting, we want to hear. We want to bust the matrix on this planet, so much so that it organically falls apart so that we have a new Earth. So when we meet our star family, and they are going to be here, we have to be the best representatives as human beings, as galactic citizens, as we possibly can be. If you're not going to be a good representative, then you got to go into your little space and throw the garbage out that you've been taught to believe for ever since you were a kid. Pretty much.
So
it's interesting because Zilla, there are people that are out here on TikTok are like calling for chaos and
they are
negativity and like demonic forces. I mean, they're
crazy
using those terms and really just like begging for it. And at this point, whatever you focus on is what will become. That's what, like somebody was saying not long ago, we should already be in a zombie apocalypse by now. I mean, you had like the hype around the zombie apocalypse. So that's what we're getting. Do we want to really and truly? We would be terrified if we had zombies around. I mean, the reality is we're all very, very not scared until we're actually scared, And it's like, think about it, put it into perspective. And it's like, well, love and light. I mean, I know Mansuk was in here before, and he always comes in. Mansuk used to be a paranormal investigator. And
he was
gotten away from it. And, that's the reason I got away from it, because it's no joke when you have, an energy that wants to come into your home. And the object is that you're not in control enough. You have to be in control enough to say, not even acknowledge the energy and not accept the invitation, because it's an invitation that's being, like everything also is an invitation, right? So the chaos going around with politics, the chaos going on now with our election that's going to be beginning, or all the election invitation. It's up to you to, hey, how you doing, everyone? It's up to you to make a decision as to what you want to engage in and not.
Right. That's
you
right.
Go to church or you not want to go to church. It's up to you, because they're churching you.
They're churching you.
They're absolutely churching you if you're not.
Did you just say they're churching you? I thought you said they're churching you. You said that, right?
Yeah,
she said they are churching you.
I got rid of my TV like over a year ago. But like what she's saying, you see all these things about the Simpsons predicted again. It's not the Simpsons are predicting anything. It's all these children are watching this show, so they're more connected to God than we are, and they're manifesting these things into our reality because of their abilities. And I've noticed also. So yesterday, when you come into this level of consciousness, like you can keep your cool. I was in a live, and it was a spiritual live, and basically this guy was just saying, you are your body, and like I'm like, and he's like talking about ETs and how it's just a manifestation of like whatever, and I was just like, you're right now you're not teaching, you're preaching. I said, so you study Hermeticism, and you said you know the laws. I said, so one of the first things you understand is that there's things beyond our understanding, for one. For two, if you can think of it, it's possible. So just by me saying that, pointing that out, it literally like threatened his whole like preaching, and I had people like yelling at me, ego tripping on me, and I was just like, I don't argue, I'm not going to argue with you. It's unfortunate that you can't like talk as like a human, like in,
Yeah.
I'll discuss this with you, but I'm not going to like yell. I don't have to prove my point.
Yeah.
Like I just won't talk, and
Yeah.
it just messed with their whole, I've noticed a lot of this going on, that they're angels, they're demons, they're this.
Oh
No,
yeah.
they're our cosmic brothers and sisters. They're us, we're them. And it's
Yeah.
not that hard to grasp.
There are people that unfortunately, and we get them once in a while on encounters, we don't really put too much up with it. Here, we try to keep the positivity up there. We do have interviews with people that have had abductions 10 years ago or 20 years ago, but that's a story based on their experience. That's different. Yeah, what we try to do here on this show, because it is a show, we stay away from all these people that have no idea about cosmic understanding, about ETs, about star people. We've had people will come out and say, "Oh, those people from another planet or whatever." They have no idea what they're talking about because they're uneducated and they've been indoctrinated in some religion with a pastor or a rabbi or somebody has indoctrinated them to a belief system that is antiquated and limited in the construct of being able to understand the multitude of information that is available to learn beyond what we've been taught. And I think it's really important for people to understand that. So, and I want to talk about something as well and if again, we will try to, I guess this is the focus of tonight's show. I have no idea what's going to happen when I come on here, but I think it's important to understand. And I'm going to talk. I don't have any problem right now, but I'm going to talk because I do know this to be true. That we are preparing to go off planet. You might have heard me talk about this recently. And I know in the next 3 months, I'm pretty sure this is going to manifest itself in my conscious reality. I think some of you heard that I finally, as I readjusted my energies, um, there's a space, well, it's not just a spaceship. There is, we have a biological father and mother here that passed away a number of years ago, but in the last 15 years. My biological parents. Now, I'm learning that I have parents off planet that are cosmically I'm part of their family too. Now, if you can understand what I am saying, there is your biological parents. Grace has a biological family. Zilla has one. I still have an extended family, brothers, cousins, relatives. We all do, right? On the earth level, we have a biological family, whether we get along with all of our family, whatever. But we also have parents that are from off planet that are our star parents that are also our cosmic family. So let me explain this. So I have a father and a mother off planet that are star people. They're from another planet. I have brothers and sisters I'm learning, thank God through April, that I am related to off planet. And I'm going to shortly in the next few months, I'm preparing myself quietly, been meditating a lot to prepare myself to go aboard and walk onto a spaceship. And when I share this story with you, I want you to know this is true. That what I'm planning to do is I'm going to not just myself, April, myself, and I think two or three other people that I have no idea who they are yet, that they're supposedly going to join us. And we're going to go off planet for only a short time. Well, in space, there is no time, so it might be what we consider a couple hours. On Earth, I might be off planet for an hour, but it might be that it was like 5 hours on a spaceship. So we're going to be traveling to different places, including, the way I understand it, some of the uh, uh, spiritual ET bases in the oceans. We're going to be going into the oceans of the Earth to certain activated ET bases that are bases of the star people, so to speak. We're going to go into a place where there is an Atlantis on another frequency that exists and that is real. And again, as we get closer into the period past April, I think it's going to be April, May, June, somewhere. I think May, June area. This is going to happen. I don't know why I know this, but it seems like May, June keeps coming up in my head. So what we're going to do is we're not going to be able to record any of this because we're going to be on a spaceship. Our technology will not be able to work. Okay. But we will record outside the ship. Before we go into the ship, we'll be broadcasting. I'll record it on my phone here, the going on the ship with all the people that are going to be going on the ship. There's only going to be a few people involved in this. When we come back off the ship on Earth, we're going to have a message. Now, I'm not sure what the message is yet, but I know when we come back off the ship, we'll have a lot more knowledge than we have now about what we're, to bring forth back to the planet. And I just want people to know that the government will have nothing to do with it. Bold Move says, do you think the government will allow you? The government can't stop us from doing anything. Now, one thing you got to realize with the commander, and Grace knows this to be true, she's met me, that we're going to bust the matrix, right, Grace? We're just here to bust the matrix. So there's nothing that can stop us. And the beautiful part is that Christ and beings of the Ashtar Command are who we're going to be connecting with. I've known about this most of my life, that at some point in my life this was going to happen, even since I was a kid. I mean, I just knew it. I didn't focus on it. I was growing up. I went to high school, junior high school, did the things that most human beings do, right? We all do it. But I knew in my heart that someday, for some reason, there would be a something happening, a connection, and it has happened. And it's going to be a beautiful thing. And whatever cosmic Christed things are shared, we will, bring it to Earth. We'll bring it back to Earth. So I'm still learning. Every day I'm being downloaded information. My energy level is so amped up right now. It's crazy. I've never seen this amped up. My consciousness is rapidly moving like every nanosecond. If you hear me talk, it's not because I want to talk fast. I have rapidly information coming into my consciousness now all the time. It's just it's crazy.
Commander, I have the same problem. I mean, I don't know. Do you sleep? Do you get information while you're sleeping too? Because
I have hard time sleeping. I mean, I'll sleep tonight.
Same here.
But I'm consciously getting information now from the space people. Connected with my father on board the ship. He's a commander, and my mother's on another ship, and my brothers and sisters are on the ship. And I'm constantly thinking about them now, which is interesting, because I'm sure they're thinking about me. I'm thinking about them. I'm thinking about, how beautiful it's going to be when I can just hug each one on that spaceship. I'm going to give them a big hug, the biggest hug you've ever seen in your life. And I just can't wait. I am just super excited about that.
So
really excited about that.
Commander, I have to share something with you. So last October, when I had that week of that real close contact with that craft, I actually went aboard a ship, and I was there for 4 days. It was kind of like split reality. One morning I went out to see if it was there, and there was nothing there, but in the woods there was a beam of light, just like April's, just like that. And I was messaging April when she was going through all this, and I went and investigated, and there was a 15-foot tall Nordic woman with ice blue eyes and ice platinum hair standing there, introduced herself and said, I'm the one who's been communicating with you. Would you like to come aboard the ship? And I said, absolutely. So this cloaked out ship that was smaller than a VW bug appeared. She said, all you have to do is touch it to enter it. I touched it. I went in, and it was like a football stadium inside, and
Yeah.
hydroponic gardens as far as you could see, thousands of different beings. My higher self actually resides in the Crystal Palace of Agartha. I have a white dragon that I fly. I'm part of a council. Like I have several blocks of like, it comes in pieces, but like you're saying, since that's happened, like that's what happened yesterday. Like they're like, you're in psychosis and all this because they can't handle the amount of information that comes out of me. Some of the stuff I don't even know how I know it.
Right.
It's just like there, and it's,
Yeah.
I know it's truth because it's like, and the reason I didn't share this with you guys is because like, it's like unbelievable. This reality, like everything I've been through, like people calling me crazy and like,
Mhm.
so it's like, I watched your show for 6 weeks before I opened my mouth. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
everything that happened
A lot of people were not.
so fast.
Yeah, people would like. Yeah, with Zilla, I mean, I can say that most.
Yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, Commander. Sorry.
I was gonna say that most people that eventually came live on my show, because they've been through things where they didn't know if they were safe to come on and talk about it, found that now on this show, Encounters, that this show is a place where people can come out of the closet and talk about it, because people are being taken aboard ships and people are having experiences and people over the last 30 years have been abducted and people have had beautiful things happen, and these things are not going away. And for people out there that don't believe any of this, that are finding this live, I got news for you. You're in the minority. You better wake up. You better understand something right now. You're either going to be ready for what's going to happen in the next 3 years, or you're going to be just looking with your eyes coming out of your head saying, what the heck's going on here? They were talking
January
about.
18th, I got a download. Sorry to interrupt, but I got I received the blueprint of the new way, and I'm gonna show people how to live. And we're not going to be building homes anymore. We're going to be growing living homes with growing our own food and doing all these things. And
I love that.
it's awesome. Like
So listen,
Yeah.
you guys
Yeah, Grace.
going to you, Zilla, and April should go get together in Vermont because in VT because that's where the hot spot is, and I think that's I'm getting that's where you guys should go.
Yeah, but I also think April is very protective of her area, and knowing April, I think that would be true. But I think she's very protective. I think
I'm sure you
one would have.
somewhere else in Vermont. That's a pretty wide
Yeah.
open space, so I just feel like Zilla has a lot of
Yeah.
it's happening up there. But the idea is if you're going to go public with this kind of thing, you got to know there's going to be people of interest. So just this is
Yeah.
this is why we try to remain respectful, of one
Right.
another.
Right.
And,
We do.
but you never know who's listening, and so the thing is that it's important that we yeah, right. Gail Marie says Northern Vermont. I mean, listen, I'd love to get a Skywatch in Vermont, going. I think it'd be amazing. And I wanted to do it, but when I got up there, we had gone to Bar Harbor, and we wanted to go up into the park on the point, on the top of the mountain, and it was really terribly overcast. It was rainy and overcast. The weather was just not permitting it, so we were unable to do it. But it is known as a hot spot.
Oh, hey, Bridget.
That's what I'm getting.
Cold. Oh, okay. No, I'm just go up here.
Hey, it's cold
yes.
outside. It's really
you
cold
guys are
outside.
breaking up.
Okay. Someone's asking. Monique says, Commander, do you think our government or any government should shoot or chase any UFOs? Absolutely not. They should never be doing that. I don't think it's against everything I believe in. No, they shouldn't be shooting. If our government or any government uses air force or anything to shoot at spaceships, no, absolutely not. It goes against everything I believe in.
I wouldn't be surprised if they shoot a spaceship anyway. You know what I mean?
I mean, they've used scalar technology and have actually knocked down some flying saucers over the decades, but I am against all that too.
Yeah, that's a
None of that should be done. And also, the fact is, you're right, fierce. You're right. The space people, the star people, can shut down every electrical system on our planet in a nanosecond. So the Air Force jets would be called to go up and see that spaceship and go after it. They would shut down the electronics in the Air Force jets. So, our governments can't do anything anyway. The governments would be shut down by the space people. And, it'd be pretty ridiculous for us to even attempt to go after big spaceships from other planets coming to Earth because they'd be shut down. All the electric systems would be shut down, everything. So, no, I don't believe in any of that. I mean, if I did, I'd be contradicting myself of who I am. Being from Mars, we don't have those problems. There's 10 to 15 million people on Mars, and they live in harmony with the Creator. On Earth, live with each other, no less the Creator of all the planetary systems and universe. So yeah, I think there's some people that want to come up here and join
video.
us.
If you guys want to see the video on the pilot,
Yeah, it's
you want to see the video of the pilot.
Yeah, I want to see the video of the pilot.
All right, hang on. Let me open it.
Well, you're gonna think I'm crazy. There's something that just went from right to left to right in a blink and then flashes lights 3-4 times and vanished.
Okay, well, I had an airplane cross from right to left, and now there's another one, 777 up there high off the right side that's descending to 28. That might be those two aircraft, I'm not sure.
This thing went 180 degrees in like a second.
Oh, goodness. All right. Yeah, let me know if you see it again. We'll make a report.
Well, the details, it literally went from one coast to the other in front of us, and then it went up like 30 degrees, turned off its lights or whatever it had. It looked like it's a bright orangey thing, and then since we spoke to you last, it flashed us like 3-4 times, and we are still looking at it now.
So where is it roughly?
I would say probably 60, 80 miles in front of us, and it looks like it's coming. I don't know, there's flashing.
Wow.
But it is definitely not an airplane. It doesn't have the strobe lights or anything on it. It's just this bright orange going on and off. Yep, this definitely wasn't an airplane.
Now wild.
And that just, what date was that happened, Grace? That's really amazing.
That just was reported about 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
February
27th.
Yeah.
Right here in New England, right?
Yep.
Like I was saying earlier.
They were heading from Boston to Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
it did a
it doesn't
180 turn in a second or less.
Yeah. No conventional aircraft can do that.
No way.
No way.
Then it means the technology is far superior to anything the public knows about.
That's right.
So it says here, even America's greatest fighter jets can completely turn around in a second. The force of such a turn could, in theory, kill the pilot.
Yeah. The intelligences behind that spaceship or UFO, they were able to avoid any problems and just, zipped out of there.
Incredible, right? I love when we capture stuff like that, and it's so organic. But listen, I'm gonna sign off, Commander. I've got some work to do early in the morning.
Well, thanks for coming on here.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me up. It's great to join you for a full hour. I feel like we've been on for about an hour.
Yeah.
Talking about the CE5 events coming up. I really look forward to it, and I'll see you guys soon.
I would say, clap for Grace. She, and again, get in touch with Grace if you're interested. How could they get in touch with you before you go?
Yeah, guys,
Or get in touch
follow
with
me on
you?
TikTok if you really didn't catch half of this. It's Skip to Grace. You can just click on the name and it'll take you to my page. Just follow me and then message me. I will give you all the information you need, but it's the Dragon's Egg Studio.org.
That's right.
That's the location of the CE5. It'll be taking place in Ledyard, Connecticut. That's going to be on April 20th. It's a Saturday at 7 p.m.
And again,
live on TikTok.
that's right. All right, Grace, we thank you for being here.
Good night, everyone.
And we're going to bring Grace down, and Grace, have a good sleep. We're now bringing on my dear friend. We're going to bring on April, Friends of Faries. So everything is beautiful, the way everything just goes from one thing to the other. And we're going to bring April on here, my dear friend up north. Hey, April, good evening.
Hi. How is everybody?
How are you? Doing good. We've had some interesting discussions about Christ consciousness and how people really need to throw the garbage out that they've been taught in order to align themselves in a most beautiful frequency, which is the Christ consciousness.
Huh?
I talk about that all the time. You would think I'm drunk on it, but I'm not. It's just, hey, I'm going to have some Christ consciousness, and it's absolutely free, right?
I was trying to listen to the show, but I was driving. So
I know you were driving.
I was just getting out of work, so.
I know you were. I was saying, she can't be home yet, because I know you were driving only because it was too early for you to be home.
Yeah. Yeah, usually I'm home by 11, but wow, it was a long day today. But
just let people know, I shared your latest posting, which was beautiful. I was like hypnotized by the colors of the blue.
Yeah, that's the energy ball that they send down, or that they travel in. If you look at the very last one, there is a figure in it. And I don't know why it's upside down. That confused me, but there's a figure. You can actually make out like a figure, but it almost looks like it almost looks like a fetus in there. It's weird, but that's not the way she was appearing in front of me. But
yeah,
that happened not last night, the night before. So that was a new contact that happened.
Yeah, that's different, right? But it was beautiful. A lot of beautiful energy from that photo, that picture.
Wasn't that cool? I was like, I couldn't even believe I was able to capture it until she got up to me. Then my phone was shut down. So yeah.
Oh my gosh,
But I got at least got that much of it. At least now you guys can see that energy ball thing that I keep talking about.
Yeah. And that's the first time I've seen something like that.
Yeah.
You've had so many interesting connections with my father on the ship, my commander father. And you know what? I should remember the name in my head, but can you just repeat the name?
Robar?
For me? Robar. Okay. I'll remember Robar.
I know. It's like, I know. I keep trying to remember all the names too. I'm like, oh, like they
Robar.
So many names, but I'm trying to like remember the main names that are important,
And Robar, as April is, I'm learning from April, from her experiences. She's physically been on the ship. She met my father, Commander Robar. He's with the Ashtar Command, and
been on different ships actually.
Different ships.
Yeah. So the last ship that I went on, it was something like it's called a waiting ship. Is what she told me.
Oh, a waiting ship.
Yeah, and what a waiting ship is, and this is a large, like, mothership type ship.
Wow.
And there was a lot of people living on this ship, but these people are beings are there to take care of us. Meaning, now when I was brought into my first room, I was brought into a where I was put into the suit again, and then I was brought into an oval like I don't know how to explain it. It was,
Hmm.
it almost looked like an egg-shaped room, but
Interesting.
the floor was flat and like kind of squarish, but the ceiling itself was like almost egg-shaped. Like I don't even know how to explain it, but it was white.
Like an egg.
Yeah, and it was almost misty in there. But
Wow.
there was hundreds of beds in there. But okay, so wait, let me back this up. The first room I went
Yeah.
to, there was probably along the lines of, I want to say about 100 or 200 beds in there. I couldn't get an accurate count or anything because it was a lot of beds in there. And then the
Yeah.
second room I went into, there was a lot of beds in there, and these are like those med bed type things, but these aren't.
The med
But
beds.
wait, but these aren't regular med beds. These are,
Really?
they're storage facilities, storage containers type beds. Now these beds
Wow.
had a misty substance in them,
Hmm.
and there was beings asleep in these beds. Beings, they were stored, and per the name, the waiting ship.
Yeah.
These are the physical beings of like me and you and
Oh, wow.
saw Chesno in a separate room.
You saw Chesno in a
I
separate
saw
room?
Chesno and one of the main rooms. I got to. She showed me my friend Chesno, but she called him by his name, and then I got to see our third, and a few others. But the main room that she showed me were the chosen star seeds, the ones that are the
Hmm.
ones that have the mission.
Hmm.
And they were stored separately from the other beings that were put down into human bodies. Now now we're being basically our our star selves are being stored because we don't die. Oh, I can talk tonight. Sorry, we don't we
That's
don't
okay.
we don't become. I don't know
We
if I
don't
can say
die.
that on there. We don't become
There's
unalive
no death.
when
We're not.
so
We're alive.
I mean, so what they do is when we choose our human experience before we come down, or it's chosen for us either way, but we really have a choice in what we get to do when we come down. They'll like give us a choice of different lives to live, and we choose our little lives, and then we go down and we learn how to live the human experience, and we learn lessons and stuff like that. And then when our human bodies die, our energy, our starseed energy being goes back up into either back into our body or back into a holding, like it's like it almost looks like a tall glass, like almost like a battery type thing, but it's like
Really?
see through inside, and there's crystal. It's like it almost looks like you're like being stored into a crystal. That's the best way
Huh.
I can explain it. But that's to if you need to go back for whatever reason, if there's more lessons you need to learn, if you choose to want to go back to the human experience, you can. And your energy, your living energy is stored in these big like crystal cylinders, and
Wow.
then you're transferred back down into another, and then you go into have another human mother, another human father. It was
Hmm.
really, really, really beautiful.
So, when you went on the ship, did you see yourself as
Yeah.
you are, and
Yes.
did you look different or the same?
No, I look different. I mean,
You look
I
different.
look a lot. Well, not completely though. I mean, I look a lot like I do now. Um,
Okay.
but but like I said, I was sleeping. And
Right.
my face was different. But somewhat the same. And same
Hmm.
thing with yours. Like like your eyes were the same shape.
These
And
eyes here. Okay.
yeah, your eyes were like the same shape, and you had the same type nose and lips, but your features were like basically flawless. Um, and then you had your little beard going on in there, and then they had our bodies wrapped with this white like this white. It looked like linen, but it wasn't linen. I want to say it's plastic, but it's not plastic. It almost looked like a satin,
Satin, okay.
like a satin material that was wrapped around us. But it was also there was also a mist in these cylinders that we were being stored in, and they're to keep us, safe and keep our bodies, still functioning and ageless and all that good stuff. But
Yeah.
it was beautiful, and like when I first walked into the room, I immediately smelled. It almost smelled like jasmine.
Jasmine.
It
Interesting.
almost smelled like jasmine and I don't know how to and rocks. Like, you know what the smell of dirt or rocks smell like? I don't know if you've ever like experienced that smell, but that's it. It smelled like jasmine. It smelled very earthy.
I know what jasmine smells like,
Yeah,
so I can
it had
understand
that
that.
floral, earthy smell to it when I walked in there. I thought that the first thing I was going to smell was like medical smell, like human medical, like when you walk into a hospital and you
Right.
smell that. That's what I thought I was going to smell when I saw the
Ah,
immediately, but that's not what I smelled. I smelled like it smelled like jasmine with the undertone of lemongrass and then like dirt, soil.
interesting.
It was the strangest
So
smell.
when we go on board the ship, which I keep getting between May and maybe you'll
I
have more
don't know.
information than I will.
When we're going. I have no idea when
Yeah.
anything is, because they're waiting. They're waiting for the other ships to come. I don't know. They couldn't give me a
Okay.
direct answer, so
Yeah.
I don't know. But
Right.
they have
And I know you don't.
other stuff to share.
Yeah.
And that's our third had a lot to do with that, and so did Chesno. Chesno was actually a this is really strange. Okay, so
Wow.
they explained to me a lot more how they like grow their plants and things like that. Now their plants are grown by it's like basically like music, tones, and vibrations, and the fluid that they keep these plants in. And
Yeah.
Chesno's being, or his space being self, was in charge of that. That was like his
Interesting,
job that he
Chesno.
chose to do. Was like he did music. He made these like things to make music and tones and stuff like that to help these plants to like flourish. And
Wow.
they flourish in these rooms on these ships because of the creations that Chesno created. That's why I was showing Chesno, and they were talking about the music that he creates for these plants.
Wow. I don't know if Chesno's still here, but that's pretty interesting, Chesno. If you're here, you're hearing that? It's very interesting.
And
Very
then,
interesting.
yeah, and then you already know what your job that you chose as a space being is communications, but you ride on the your space being self rides on the big ships. You ride on the big boy ships. You're the ships that
I'm on the big ship.
yeah, you're the ships that
The,
don't mess
the
around.
commander's on the big ship that doesn't fool around. So watch out, Earth people, because I came from the big ship,
Right.
and that's why I'm busted. That's why I'm here to bust the Matrix, right?
Mhm.
They know what I'm doing up there. That's for sure. Yeah, no, it's really true. I mean, if you're not watching this show and listening again, educated on something here, understand what me and April are talking about. We're talking about intergalactic connecting with our star family, our family, biological star family. Like since I met April, I've learned things that I didn't even know, because I'm always learning stuff. I'm not egotistical. I'm very humble to learn things I don't know. There's a reason why we connected on this planet, and it took all these years to get there, but it came through being on here on this social medium. And what's happening is, what we're talking about is that there is going to be, and I understand that there's a lot of stuff going on in the universe, and
Yeah.
we're not the only thing they're concerned about. Yes, that they're going to, that April is going on the ship. I think it's great that she's doing it, because it's starting with her to facilitate getting me prepared for the next thing that she's been going through. That's what it is. I'm not in any rush, but I do believe this year, at whatever point it is, they will communicate with April 1st and say, okay, April, tell Commander this is what we're going to do. And that's the way it's going to happen. And I'm very happy with that. There's no rush here. So, and I know that. So I'm not like, oh, what, I'm a mature galactic adult. And I'm very, to me, whenever it's going to happen and when they're ready to do it logistically, it will happen. I know it's going to be this year. I know they're waiting for more spaceships from beyond space to come, the galactic forces that are coming here.
They were.
So that's really.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I was.
No, go ahead.
You that this was one of their motherships that they had. That was one of their waiting ships, and they were transporting it, and it was close by, and she wanted me to see this, they were transporting it to a different in our galaxy, but in a different dimension. They hide the ship in a different dimension to keep it safe, because our beings are in there, ourselves are in there. So this ship is heavily protected. I mean, there was so many ships around this thing. When I was being brought up, you could just see the bleeps of light everywhere. This ship was heavily protected, but they were moving it to put it into a different spot, because it doesn't stay in the same spot for more than one.
Oh, that's good.
They said more than one moon cycle, so they moved the ship frequently to keep the ship safe. It was close in our atmosphere, or close by our atmosphere, and she really wanted me to see this stuff that was in there, and talk to me about like who we are off a planet, and what our jobs were and stuff like that. And I'll be talking to our third a little bit later on about his stuff, and then so it's been quite a lot to wrap my head around.
Well, you're doing really well. To me, you're like, for me, a teacher, and I'm the student right now. You're teaching me stuff that you've been taught by the people, your father who's on the spaceship, my father who's a commander on the spaceship. This particular ship where our space bodies are physically alive but just asleep. Where, like, basically, my friend Athena many years ago said to me, and this is when I first met her from California, she was in Sedona. She's with the Astar Command. She's been she's been a world traveler. She's a beautiful person. She said, Commander, he says, while you're here on Earth, your body is, she said it was floating at that point. She said, oh, your body is waiting for you when you leave Earth. Your physical space body is alive and well.
She might mean in the ship, or in the smoky gaseous stuff that was in the thing, because it really did look like we weren't like laying down, like it didn't look like we were laying on top of anything. It looked like we were suspended in these cylinders, like our bodies were like floating in these cylinders. She was right there, and I think that mist stuff had something to do with keeping our bodies up and elevated. And I'm assuming, just for my human side, that's so there's no bed sores being created or anything like that. Right. From laying flat for too long. So I'm assuming that's why we're suspended in these cylinders. But it keeps us ageless in there and timeless in these cylinders. It's really cool. And then I was brought up these spiral stairs, but I didn't have to actually walk up these stairs. Like, you are like, I don't even know how to, it's almost like an escalator, but it was a lot faster, and there was lights involved. It was almost like going up a spiral tunnel.
Wow.
But you step onto it, and you can see like spiral steps going up, but you don't physically actually step on the steps. You're like floated up these steps.
You're floating in a spiral. You're just floating beautifully up the spiral. I understand that.
And then you land, like, when you stop, you stop softly, and you just step like off of it, and it was actually really cool. But they had the one room with the chosen star beings, and then they had the other rooms. There's a bunch of different rooms and different ships as well, with the millions of these star seeds from across the world that are their beings are stored and safe. And our third is actually he's one of the guardians of that, and he actually went to school to learn how to do all that. So it's really cool, but I'll be talking to him about that later. But like, yeah, so it was quite the trip this time. I was there for quite a while. I felt like almost most of the day I was there, hours and hours and hours. I couldn't even guesstimate how many hours I was with them. It felt like, honestly, it felt like I was gone for more than a whole day.
Yeah.
But when I came back,
And
I wasn't gone. It was actually a shorter time when I had come back, because it seemed like I was only gone for like 25 minutes.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was so fast. When I came back, I was like basically almost placed back at the exact time that I was taken.
Interesting.
So I guess the time
You know what?
really doesn't matter. There's no time, like they can just place you back at whenever time, but they try
Yeah.
to get you back to the time that they took you, so that way you're not missing anything.
And just so you know, April, I hear the sounds of the spaceship behind you.
Oh, do you?
You don't hear anything, do you?
No, actually, I don't. No, I'm not.
I
So
my
freaked out right now.
let me tell people, my consciousness
long
is
day.
my consciousness can hear everything, and I and my vibrational patterns are hearing the spaceship.
Hmm.
So even though you're here in your physical environment, the spaceship sound is coming through. Does everybody hear the spaceship?
Thank you for all the
How many
gifts, guys. So yeah, and I tried to get I tried to get some more information about this the thing on the 13th, because I heard you talking
Yes.
about it.
Yes.
They said they basically I don't want to, like, they weren't trying to sound like they were being rude or anything, but what they were trying to say is that they've got a lot of stuff that they're trying to deal with right now. But this is
Okay.
I'm dumbing it down from how they explained it to me.
Right. No, I understand.
But basically, what they said is they've got a lot of stuff that they are dealing with right now. Your father is gonna do something for you as like, because he wants you to be happy. So
Yeah.
he's doing this for you.
Okay.
So that whatever they're gonna do, whatever ships they're gonna send, or whatever they're gonna do, it's gonna be for you. He didn't get into details about what was going
Okay,
on,
that's okay.
but something will happen. So
I mean, I really want to meet my galactic father on that
and I
ship.
told him this. He said when he said, my son, he says you need to learn patience. He says your human self is very impatient. Yes, this is him saying.
Oh gosh.
This is him saying. He says
Oh man.
he laughed. He says that because he's been watching you your whole life in your human form, and he says that even when you were a small human, you want it, and you want it tomorrow. That's what his
It's true. He's right about that.
So, yeah. So
I can laugh about. I can laugh now because I'm mature enough to laugh about it, and I'm okay with whatever happens.
But he says, be patient. They're
all right. I will.
They're working everything out, and believe me, Commander, when it happens, your whole world is going to change, because I still don't even know how I am. I mean, I'm just going to be real honest. Like, I don't even know how I'm still going to work every day. I really don't. I feel like my whole world has been turned upside down, and I'm at work and I'm like zoning out. This
Well,
replaying
you're in the
everything.
cheese, and you're still working with the cheese out there in Vermont
Right.
with
I'm
the
still trying
cow
to wrap
cheese.
my
So
head
there you
around
go.
everything. It's a lot. It's a lot of information, and they're trying to show me the stuff little by little, as to not overwhelm my human side. But apparently I'm pretty my human side must not be real smart, but my alien side is very smart. Apparently, I'm in charge of a lot of things, I guess. From what they
Huh.
were telling me, that I.
Well, and when we go into our non-human side, which is our galactic side, like I was talking to Grace about this earlier, about Christ consciousness and all this, we live the human life, but in a sense, if we were to meet ourselves in our space suit, our space body, our real cosmic suit, I think that would be, to know that we are, as all of us, have this ability that are on that spaceship you talked about, where it's like an egg, like a pod, is like a mist, and that we see our space body. I think is pretty amazing that we can see our space. So I'm just thinking, as you were talking about that, I'm saying, when that time comes that we're taken on board the ship, and we see that room with our body laying there, I'm saying, I don't know if I don't think I want to wake it up yet, because I want to come back to Earth and still do the mission work.
Right. And
So I don't think,
let me-
how would that work?
so when we are taken, the chosen star seeds, when we are the rest of the star seeds will still have to live their human existence, but the
Okay.
chosen star seeds, at that point, because of the mission work and the stuff that we have to do, will also
Yeah.
be given a choice, before after we're done with our mission. We
Yeah.
will be given a choice to stay, or to continue on with our with whatever lessons we need to learn as a human, or we can stay up there and be reactivated into our human, or into our star being selves.
Yeah.
Those ones will be given a choice. I know
Yeah.
that I'm coming back, because I love I don't have a perfect human existence. Matter of fact, my human existence is darn struggling some days, but
Yeah.
I feel like I still have things I need to learn here on Earth.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I know I'm coming back, at least until this lifetime is done.
Yeah. Well, I plan to come back. I plan to be here for the rest of my 1,000 more years. Now, I've been meditating about this. If I am on the ship, I'm coming back.
Yeah.
I'm coming back because I have a family here.
We'll be given a choice, and like I've already made my choice. I already know I'm coming back, and you've pretty much made it really clear that you're coming back, because you have your whole human family and everything going on down here. But this is do you know that this is your second time around?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, this is your second time, because you didn't, you felt like you still had stuff to learn, so you came back again. So this is your
Wow.
second human existence.
What was I thinking? No, I'm just kidding. Grace is saying, how will Commander be taken on the ship? Grace, the way I'll answer, the way I understand it, is that when that time comes, they will just be able to, like they did with April, the ship landed in the woods. It was cloaked, I think. And then all of a sudden a door appeared, and then they were able to walk out of the ship, and then April was able to go inside the ship, and then she was in the ship. So I think something like that, Grace, is probably how it's going to work whenever that happens. Whoever, and I will be patient and wait for that period. I won't wait. I'm going to keep doing things, enjoy my life, grow my watermelons and all that jazz. But yeah, that's how it's probably going to work. When the timing comes, they will, I'll probably know, I guess, at some point.
I've been taken up a couple of different ways. So I mean, it's either been in that light bulb, that light energy thing, or I physically walked onto the ship. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how or when they're going to get pick up the commander, but they'll do it so he's not scared. They're gonna make sure that he's got familiar faces. So I mean, he won't. I know he won't be scared because he already knows and he's already expecting it to happen at some point. But
I'm pretty much not scared of, I'm not scared at all. I'm just like,
excited.
I don't remember the last time I was in outer space on a spaceship physically. So I'm actually excited. For a lot of different reasons, I'm excited to, I've always known that we have space parents. All of you also out there probably know that you have your biological parents and you have your space parents, which is totally different. And if you can get out of the concept of, well, you can't have parents in space, then you have to understand that you have to break the 3D belief system about how this whole thing works. Because my friend Athena told me a long time ago that your physical space body is on a ship. Your Earth body, your Earth consciousness is here. So you'll always have your space body, which you will be able to go back to once you complete your mission on Earth. So like you said, we do have a choice. It's always going to be our choice. And our beautiful star family gives us that choice, whether we want to come back and do more work on the planet Earth or whether we want to, go and travel in space and be the space people that we are before we came to volunteer to be on Earth. So it's we have that choice. It's not like we can't do it or not do it. It's going to be up to us. It always is, That's the beautiful part of it.
But I was also told too that because I was like, so are we just going to do this one job and that's this particular job that you guys are giving us, or is there going to be more besides the 2 visits that I talked to you about? They are also going to be before everything happens, they're also going to be taking us to our home worlds. And we'll be able
Oh, wow.
we'll be able to have a visit with our entire family before we go on to doing our other work. So
Oh, wow. So we'll be traveling folks, and as April's saying, well, she's sharing stuff that they gave her when she was physically on the ship. And I'm actually looking at the moon through the window here. Oh, it's just caught my attention. The moon is out. It's like staring me right in the eye. I can't believe it. But yeah, that's amazing. And so we're going to go to our home worlds and get to meet our larger part of our galactic family that we're connected with. That to me, I can't wait. Skeptic Race is saying just you and Commander will be going. You want to answer that?
No, it'll be me and the commander, our third, and then along the way there will be other star seeds that will be also going to do what we need to do, and then we will be there. So there's going to be it'll be me, the commander, our third, and then we'll be Greg, I don't know if we're going to go with them to pick them up. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but all the stuff.
You mean like
across the
us?
world.
Well, so we're going to be on the ship, and then with this our family on the ship, ship's going to go and pick up other people that we've never met before.
I'm not sure if our ship is going
I don't know that either.
I don't know. I didn't ask that question. That's a good question. I'm gonna have to remember to ask that next time. But I know that me, the commander, our third, and our families are going to be on that ship. I don't know if we're going to go and pick up other star seeds that are in this grid, or if we, what it's going to entail with that. I didn't think to ask that question.
And Grace is asking, do they identify themselves?
Identify themselves? What do you
I think like when they're going to pick up people. Will they? Well, I think you're asking, Grace. Will they identify themselves?
I don't know if what they're going to do. Honestly,
Yeah.
I couldn't answer that question. But I immediately knew. I didn't have to be identified. Like, they introduced themselves, but I already knew who they were. I don't know how I knew that, but I already knew who they were, and I'm sure the commander will have the same experience. Like,
oh yeah, I'll know when I have that. Carrie's asking, she's been on our show, Carrie. How often do you already go on the ship?
How what? I'm sorry.
She's asking how often do you. The question is how often do you go on the ship? Is what her question is. I think.
I've been on it now. Oh, how many times does this make? 6 times or 5 times? 5 times now. I've been up.
Okay.
Or
Skips of Grace wants to know who are they. We've mentioned Ashtar Command. You want to go more into that? Who they are?
they're they're the Ashtar Command. I mean the commander has his father is actually on the ship. His mother, I didn't get to meet her. She was on another ship with his brothers and sisters. I don't know if they were all on the ship. He didn't talk too much about any of that, but and then I got to meet my star seed father and mother and one of my brothers.
Right. Oh, interesting.
But Commander,
And
I'm so sorry. I am so exhausted right now. I'm like
I
trying
know
to fall asleep on you.
I know. I'm
Exhausted.
going to let you go. You look like you're ready to go to sleep. I mean,
Yeah,
how
I'm
can I say you
so
look
tired,
like it?
but I will.
You sound like it.
Yeah, I'm really tired. I had a super long day today.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well,
Well, I want to thank you for answering people's questions.
Sure.
If your
I'll come on
questions
tomorrow.
weren't answered,
I don't have such a busy day tomorrow, but we had a
yeah,
big order that we had to get ready for. So, yeah, it was the
absolutely.
order. So it was a long day.
And we might also with the Ashtar Command, we might facilitate Friday night as we did the last once or twice where we had the Ashtar Command communicate with us on Friday night themselves through music, very beautiful stuff. And so I think I'll take putting that together for tomorrow night's show. Yeah, we'll put down an Ashtar Command, contact show, which is going to be based on music. And also, the last time we did it, the woman spoke to you. I mean, to April. April would say, "Oh, she's whispering an answer to me," because they're right there. They will visit with her and. So we'll do something beautiful tomorrow night, and so I'll facilitate putting together maybe a promotional little video for tomorrow night's show. I want to thank April. April, get some sleep.
Yeah.
You've done some great stuff.
Maybe on Saturday, maybe I can come on and put a background or something on it. Maybe they'll even show themselves in the background like they did the last time. That was kind of cool.
Oh yeah, use a background. Yeah, you can do the green screen. Yeah, absolutely.
Remember, he popped in there, so I thought that was really cool. But
yeah,
Commander, I am going to go because I need to
go to sleep.
Yeah.
You're probably going to be taking. You know what's going to happen? She's going to go off. She thinks of going to sleep. They're going to open the door to the spaceship. She's going to go on the Ashtar Command spaceship, and then she's going to come back and tomorrow say, "Commander, you're not going to believe I tried to go to sleep, but my father took me back on the ship."
Listen, the way these guys keep showing up, I'm telling you, I'm exhausted.
And I know they can hear me, and they're probably saying, "You know what? The commander's right. We should take her back on the ship tonight. Not let her get to sleep." I don't want to give them any ideas, so I'll let you go to sleep.
All right, Commander. I love everybody. You guys have a good night.
You too, April. You take care. Have a good night. All right. And let me just disconnect you here. I can do that. Show your love for the show here. If you've not given any gifts yet, please do. Let's see. What do I have here? I have 8 of those hanging lights available. So I have hanging lights. I'm pinning them. I'm pinning hanging lights. We're going to stay up here till 1 o'clock. We're at 67,000 likes. We need to get to 100,000. I wanted to tell you something. I won't mention any names, but it's kind of important. Okay. You should probably, thank you there. And Ashley, you can message me and thank you for that. We appreciate it. Definitely. Yeah, Ashley, definitely message me off the show. Gail, thank you. This is great. I've got 2 of 8 hanging lights. Very beautiful. So you're watching Encounters. We've had some incredible information. I want to thank Grace for sharing so much information regarding the, I'd say, workshop, the CU5 event, and our discussion earlier about Christ consciousness and how important it is to throw the other garbage out of your mind and all that jazz. So, yeah, it's very, very important that people understand these things. And we could do, one or two more interviews before 1 o'clock, I think. We're going to go till 1 here. We started at a little after 10 p.m. Eastern. Orion, yes, it's been nearly a year. I hope you're doing well. Welcome everybody who's tuned into the show or watching it around the world. This is Encounters. Normally we're on at 11 p.m. Eastern. We got on earlier tonight, an hour earlier. And please show your support for the show. We've got 2 of 8 hanging lights that were given. That's my pinned up thing tonight, is hanging lights. You can give any kind of gift you want if you have TikTok coins. Also follow me. And we want to get it to 100,000 followers before summer to expand our reach out to people on TikTok all over the place. Our goal is to educate, motivate, and have people share their stories of encounters with space beings, their UFO sightings. It could be crop circles, it could be fairies, it could be all those things. Just be aware that you can participate in this program. Thank you, Wedge, for the hanging light. That's now, I got 3 hanging lights out of 8. And that's good. So I need 5 more hanging lights to meet my hanging light sprites. Thank you for the roses. And we're winding down the show a little bit here. Gail, thank you for a hanging light. I appreciate it. Oh, wow. I'm at 50% on the hanging lights. That's why you heard that little pop sound. Gail sending me another hanging light. Wow, Gail, you're very Jude. Oh my God, I think we're going to make, we're at 6 hanging lights out of 8. And also subscribe. If you're not a subscriber to my TikTok, the little star, the gold star. Oh, Laura, thank you, Laura J. Oh, you folks are just like incredibly beautiful. I really love you all. And I have 1 more hanging light to make my goal. Hopefully we can do that, Gwen Jade, take care. Have a good evening, Gwen Jade. Good to have you with us, Gwen Jade. And Marie, oh, wow. Wedge 269 just did that. We reached our goal. Thank you, everybody. We did 8 hanging lights in a few minutes. That's incredible. You folks are, to remind everyone, if you want to donate my Venmo, thank you, Ashley, for mentioning that for people. So definitely do the Venmo. I do have on my main profile page a link to my Venmo. I've had a few people do it the other night. When Stonic was on, people got motivated. So I do have a Venmo account, a Cash App, and you can donate there too. Thank you, Chesno, for putting that on there. I don't mention it enough. I think people need to know. A lot of people here in this day and age have Venmo on their phones. So please do my Venmo. Oh, wow, I got another hanging light. That's crazy. Thank you, sprites. Am I doing more? I got transcending. Thank you. I like lemonade transcending. How did you know that? That's because you're tuned in. Orion, thank you for the bear. That's wow, I'm getting Susan McMurray hanging lights. I'm just enjoying. I feel like I'm meditating right now with all this beautiful energy coming here from everybody all over the place. Well, why not? Because everybody here is beautiful. My audience all over the world, you're all beautiful people. And tomorrow's Friday. Courtney, thank you for the little crown. I feel like a king in space. Rose, hey, thank you, Sprites, for the rose. And Sprites, thank you for this love. Believe it or not, Gail, and I used, back in the day when disco was happening, when I came back from Vermont, for some time when I was single, I don't know why I did this, but the commander actually went to discotheques. When there was disco music playing, I actually was dancing to disco music, thinking, that was the thing. I don't know where my consciousness was at then, but I was like doing the disco. I would go out, as a single person, going to the discotheques. Slamore, thank you for subscribing for the first time. And hey, Ruby, thank you for the hand heart. So I share part of my Commander Earth-based life. And that one is really amazingly beautiful. I'm looking at it coming right through the window. But I'd go to the disco and, dance to the disco music. Then I went from disco, and then I got back into more of my spiritual self. I went out of the disco, and then I found myself going back into more of a down-to-earth self. And then I went into the cosmic spiritual self, and that's where I've been ever since. So I had this little mini time on Earth when I went to discotheques. I couldn't quite look back. I didn't understand why, but I used to get out there and do the disco. They had the little glittery things going on. All the lights were blinking. And, I thought that's what I was supposed to do. Go to disco. And, some of you were probably at those discos too. I guarantee it. But I went from being in Vermont where I was like this, like I had long hair, and you might say kind of like a hippie kind of thing. I visited some communes when I was in Vermont, when I was going to school. In college, we had friends that were going to school with us, and they lived on a commune, And so I got to experience that, and then I went from that life back to Connecticut, and everything switched. And then I went from the disco thing and got back into the cosmic thing, and I've been in the cosmic thing ever since. It's a beautiful world we live in, Fierce says disco is the only dance everybody can dance. That's true. Let me see here. Down the rabbit hole. I believe Down the rabbit hole, he's been to some discotheques himself in Florida. Ruby, thanks for the donuts.
Ladies.
I was never disco duck, but I did do the disco. Go ahead, there, Rabbit.
Yeah, I'm just trying to picture you doing the disco right now with the big with the commander afro and the commander bell bottoms.
Yeah, the big afro, bigger than what you see now. Totally higher. Definitely. I used to do that whole thing with the disco duck. It was good. Ladies and gentlemen, see, Grace came out. Her inner disco just came out just now. Says, "Oh my God, I love disco."
I think everybody could agree that disco is fun.
It was.
So many good memories.
Did you go discoing?
Commander, although I'm multiple lifetimes on this planet,
Yes.
I'm far too young to have been a disco dancer.
But disco's coming back, so you could have done it retro disco.
Disco never died in my heart.
I can just see you with the shiny shoes and the bell bottoms, and the shirt that's opened up showing your chest, and then you're
yeah, I would be one of the
getting-
dudes that had the fish in the
Right.
big platform shoe.
Right, that's right.
That would be me.
Well, we're getting to 12:49. We're at 80,000. We need to get to 100,000 by 1:00. At this time of night, during such an incredible show, there's a point where we just kind of kid around a little bit towards the end. Thank you, Gail, for the hanging light. I appreciate that. I'm so lit up tonight. It's great. And the moon, I'm really attracted by the moon. I'm looking at the moon. It's not a full moon, but it's really cool. And when I'm looking at it from here, the moon looks like it has a smiley face on it.
Oh, now I got to go outside just to look at it. Hold on.
I'm looking at the moon. Yeah, it looks like a smiley face. It looks like it has two eyes and a mouth. I kid you not, folks. I'm looking right at the moon.
Hey, did that guy that wanted to come on last night? Did he ever come on tonight? I had to step out and handle some business, but I didn't see who came on.
Yeah.
The last I saw the show, Zilla and Grace were on.
Yeah. I know I think Bad10099 has been wanting to come on the show, and he's right here. So we're going to bring, if you accept my request, I can answer your questions. I think you have a few of them. So this is Encounters, the late night spiritual UFO short show, the number one on social media. And we welcome people on here just to let people know the protocol of being a guest. You have to be over 18, no kids on the camera, no smoking, no vaping, no drinking, no drugs, and what else? No foul language whatsoever, and no paranormal discussion. That's 10,000 other TikToks.
Wait a second. You just said no smoking, but Commander, you and I are smoking every time we're on here.
Oh yeah, with consciousness. And I think we have our guest, Bad10099. I saw your comments. I finally had a chance to bring you up. Good evening. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And whereabouts on the planet are you?
Oh, down in the South region area.
Oh, good. And definitely, what would you like to share regarding all the things we talk about here?
Well, I was actually wondering if you can interpret this dream I've been having. It's a recurring dream. It will not go away. I can't dream of anything else. Literally nothing. Absolutely nothing else but this dream.
Okay.
And well, I sent you a message. I don't know if you read them or not, but
I do, but I'd rather have you on here so I can actually get you to speak and tell us what it's about.
That's Commander's nice way of saying he didn't check your message. So welcome to the show. Well, you must be new here, and if you're new here, I have to tell you and everybody watching, don't send Commander a message because he's not going to check them. He's a celebrity. He's got thousands and thousands of followers. So you're going to have to reiterate the dream for us.
I do check messages, but go ahead.
He does.
But this dream I've been having for, I don't know, since I was 9. Until now, it's still recurring. It's about, well, it's, I don't know how to explain this. I try to explain it to people that do, dreamscapes and stuff like that, and it's more like,
yeah.
And what it's about is I'm literally standing right in the middle of a light. The light's right above me. It's just like a massive circle of this light. Everything else is from where I'm at. Everything else from where that light ends is blacker, jet black, more black than a black hole. I can't see anything else. I can hear incoherent, like really low lisp whispers.
Yeah.
But I don't know what they're saying.
Okay. Do you feel like you're? I gauge everything pretty quickly, and now I'm focused. So, do you? Is this happening when you're in the sleeping state, or when does this start happening?
Sleeping. I've done deep sleep, REM, everything. I mean,
well, does it happen when does it happen when you're awake?
No.
Once in a while, I get massive headaches. I mean, like almost fall over headache. And it's like kind of like I don't know if you guys say it's like somebody flashing a light at your face.
Yeah.
But it's like this really bright one. And it's like that, and then I get like vivid kind of an image of an aftermath of it. It's kind of like when you close your eyes, you can see like where everything was, and then if you turn around and like that. But I get those once in a while. If I get too close to like right now, like right over here where I'm at, I'm like really close to the mountain range. But that's like once in a great while I get one of those.
Do you feel that you've had, and I keep sensing this, and maybe you're not aware of it, I keep sensing you had some encounters that you're not totally aware of? Like I keep getting that I'm getting information that you're not being aware of it, but you had an encounter with space people at some point, and I don't know. Just all I know is right now to tell you that you're like you're not remembering something, and you're hearing whispers, but at the same token, there's something that is in your memory that you cannot remember yet.
It's like kind of feels like it's like an urgency. Like I need to know what it is.
Well,
Type of
hey,
thing.
Right.
what other than bad one? What can we call you? What? I'm James, by the way.
Yeah, and I'm Al.
Blue, BLU, blue.
Blue.
Yeah.
Okay,
Blue.
so blue. I don't want to be intrusive, but where are you with your spirituality?
I'm pretty close. I've done meditations and it pops up there. I've done deep sleep things. It pops up there. It does not go away whatsoever, no
Mhm.
matter what I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I keep getting that you don't know this, but you've
Stuff.
had contact for a long time. Maybe did you have anything happen in your childhood?
Oh,
I keep getting something about your child. Look, I'm not a psychic here.
right.
I'm from outer space. I'm a galactic, whatever. But I keep getting something about your childhood.
The only thing I can possibly remember, like I said, it started when I was a kid, but
Yeah,
from then till now, it's never gone away.
yeah. No,
Uh,
you were contacted. You're just not remembering what it was. You might have to somehow find the right person to um, through hypnotic regression. Now, it can't be just anybody. It has to be people that do hypnotic regression to remember maybe being contacted by space people. There are people that do this specifically. So I think that the hypnosis to find the right person that can do this, because you're in your memory bank, which is right now blocked, you definitely have had contact. I keep getting that. I'm just like getting it. You've had contact. You just can't remember what it is.
Yeah, maybe he's in the chat. Hayes just said, he might have a trauma from being on the
Yeah.
ship. He was
Yeah.
so young, and that's why the
Yeah.
recurring dream.
The only thing is I've done hypnotic, and when I've done that, they snap me out of it, and I come to, and they're saying, "Oh, you didn't say anything."
Huh.
When
Yeah,
you're
but
I'm
in
like,
the,
what?
when people put through the hypnotic regression, you would think the hypnotist would ask you questions and not sit there waiting for an answer.
Yeah, but he had his notebook, and I can tell that he wrote something down because he keeps looking at it, and then he'd look up at me. He said, "You didn't say anything." And then, like the next day, he'll go, "Okay, we'll come back the next day." I do that. He's not there.
Yeah.
Nobody is.
That's interesting.
wait a second. You went to a hypnotist. He said he could tell he was writing stuff down. He was looking up.
Right.
He said, "Come back." You went back and nobody was there, like it never existed, or they were closed for the day.
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Like closed, and every time I call, no answer. I go up
No
there,
answer.
nobody's there.
hell.
I keep going back and back, and nothing.
That is really weird. James, what do you think that's all about?
Do you want my honest opinion?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we didn't. Did he give? Did you? I don't know. I might have missed it. Did you tell where are you located? You said
I'm out
those
here.
mountains?
I'm over here in New Mexico.
Oh,
Okay, New Mexico.
oh God!
And he's
But-
not laughing because it's funny. He's laughing because
Um,
he's getting a revelation from what you're saying.
Yeah,
New Mexico.
I mean,
Yeah. I wasn't born out here. We moved out here, but it's gotten so strong, so much stronger out here.
was that hypnotist thing in New Mexico?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
that makes more sense.
So
I'm definitely getting you had some sort of contact with extraterrestrial people or beings. I keep getting that.
And maybe even the Men in Black.
Maybe.
that's
Have
creepy.
you had any other type of odd, maybe not ET related, but like just odd things happening people watching you, stuff like that?
I get the long stares of like walking down somewhere, and they're just kind of like they just look up out of nowhere and just keep looking at me. And I'm like, I don't know you. I'm new here.
Wait a minute. Are you saying people, now when you say people are looking at you, when you're awake doing things, when you're out and about, people are looking at you in general or specific situations?
Or like people,
Say like if I go to the store because I do painting because it's got it on there, but I do painting for houses, and
Okay.
I'll go into a store, no matter what store it is. I'll pick up my stuff, and then I'll just kind of like they'll just all of a sudden look right at me, start doing everything, and look down and start doing the purchases and stuff like that, and I'm like, kind of like a creepy I know you but I don't know you type of thing.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
But in my dream, I keep, like I said, it's in that circle, pitch black everywhere. And the weird thing is I'll look to my right, and it's in the message. I look to my right, and I see kind of like I'd say like a puddle, but it's crystal clear, and I can see the earth.
Blue,
And
dreaming state, you're never lucid dreaming, right? Like this is all just like a movie that you're rewatching.
it's kind of like that, but it's more. I can feel everything, like
Right.
everything, and nothing at the same time.
I never shared this, Commander. I had a reoccurring dream for 10 years straight. And it was involving, ETs and a spacecraft and a mission and higher purpose feeling. And Blue mentioned that, like, there was the higher purpose.
Oh,
That purpose.
but
Yeah.
and then after that, I look back out the window, or actually, I look at my left hand. It's jet black, and it's not my hand. I can tell because my right hand is flesh. My left hand is, I have no idea. My left hand is jet black, but it looks like it's incredibly advanced.
Huh.
Nothing like we have here. None of the little things that we got here.
Yeah.
Far beyond that.
Wait. What do you mean your left hand looks advanced?
Yeah, what does that mean?
It doesn't look like a glove. It doesn't look like a sleeve at all. It's more streamlined.
I think
I'm wearing dark green for clothing, jet black boots, and as soon as I look away from, like I said, that window, next thing I know, I see red light all over the place. I'm stumbling around trying to get to my feet, and I don't know what the hell's going on because that's all I see is just red lights everywhere.
Now, Blue,
I'm going down a hallway, but the only thing is I'm covered in green, yellow, and red.
Now, Blue, I'm not a dream expert or any type of expert of anything, but when you're doing your active meditations, when you are awake and you are doing your meditations, do you ever put yourself back in that moment and try to take control rather than watching it? Do you try to put yourself in that room and try to reenact it in your mind, but as you're taking control? And maybe when you do that, you can find that you advance your dream. That's what I had to do. I had to meditate on the dream and picture myself moving past that moment. And every night it started to get a little more in depth, and the dream started advancing. And I mean, that wasn't it was years after I was having the dream that I just, I found the ability to mold that dream. So maybe you want to try something like that, like a technique like that.
I've done that several years, and I can only get to where that hallway is, and then go back and see what if I missed. I cannot go back. I cannot go back to that one point. It starts at that point, and it keeps going down that hallway. I hear screams, and I wake up.
Oh my God.
Man,
That sounds really, you know, I got a feeling you're having a multitude of things going on there. Specifically, I think I'm not close to saying you've been abducted, but I think you're having some weird things going on there.
I hope not, because this thing will not go away.
I don't want to like go down this rabbit hole, but did you like try Googling after the hypnotist disappeared?
Okay.
Did you Google them and then like look them up again, or?
Yeah, it says it's still there, and now I look and it says it's not there anymore. That was like 2 days ago.
2 days ago. So 2 days ago there was this office with a hypnotist, and 2 days later they're not there anymore.
Email address. Would you be willing to give me that doctor's information?
Yeah, if you can find him, if I can find out where my card went. He gave me a card. Like, okay, if I can figure out.
My co-host James, he'll be able to do that.
Yeah, I would be so willing to go down that rabbit hole for you.
Because I've talked to him. His name was Barry. Yeah, I know. It sounded like a cheesy name, Barry, but that's the only thing he had was his first name was Barry.
Interesting. This gets more interesting.
I know.
Yeah, James, I think James should you give James the information, he'll do some research.
Okay. And then
yeah, you know, and you've done, like Grace is saying in the chat, you've done your are you doing positive self affirmations? I'm not gonna dream.
Yeah.
Not gonna have this dream, or I'm gonna sleep dreamless tonight. You know, stuff like that. I am worthy of sleep. I am worthy of peace. You know, things to motivate you before you go into sleep. And are you I know this sounds corny and hokey, but I used to know this old guy, and he told me that if you want to have a good night's sleep, you have to wiggle your toes for 45 seconds before you go to sleep, and it releases some stuff in your body. So I don't know. You're willing to try anything, right?
Yeah, I've tried. Like I said, I've tried meditation. I tried a dream. I try to think of 1,000 different things, and it only hits that point constantly, and it just never stops.
Well, here's the solution right here, which I don't know why I didn't say in the first place. Whether it's going to work or not depends. So you need to possibly try putting in. I'm talking about Jesus Christ in a very non-religious way. I always talk about Jesus in a very galactic, cosmic way. So here's something to try. Now, again, I don't know that what this is gonna do, but I do know one thing. If you say I'm a Christed being of light, and whatever is happening with me, whatever is affecting me, you can no longer affect me because I am now operating in the Christed vibrational frequencies of light. I would try that. I would try to put a bubble of protection when you go to sleep at night, even tonight. Say I'm a Christed being of light. I'm putting a bubble of protection around me, which I should have told you earlier because I'm a little bit tired. I wasn't thinking about it. Do that. Put a bubble of protection around you whenever you go out in the community. So whatever these people are that are looking kind of weird to you, when you're in that protection of light, nothing can affect you. Nothing can penetrate your consciousness other than the Christ frequency. That's what I think you need to do. At least I'm going to try to help you this way in doing that.
Have you tried saging the bedroom?
I've even tried witchcraft, and that don't even work.
Oh, forget the witchcraft. Don't do the witchcraft. That's all low vibrational. Stay away from all that stuff.
One more thing, I know this, like I said, I don't want to sound hokey or crazy, but your eating habits, your diet, your daily intake. Are you clean eating, or are you average American eating?
No, I'm clean eating.
Oh man, this guy's doing everything. Whew.
Yeah. But the only thing he hasn't done, and I'm pretty sure of it, have you ever put a bubble of Christ consciousness around your body, internally and externally?
Yes, I also did the crosses all around my room. I've done all of it, everything I can possibly think of.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I would just say, remind yourself that you are a Christed being of light. So whatever energies are trying to, if they're lower vibrational ET energies that are in the background trying to do stuff, if you actually say, I'm a Christed being of light, get away from me, you cannot be in my physical environment, I believe it'll stop. Because I don't care what energy it is, it cannot exist if you are operating in that frequency. And if it can, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I do know. I do remember on that hallway. I do remember one thing. There was somebody else there. I didn't understand what they were saying because I don't know the language they were saying, but I do know I did saw a pin, like a pin on their shirt, whatever it was. It didn't have wings. It didn't have any of that stuff. It was like, if I can remember correctly, it was like kind of like an upside down T, but it had like a little curve to the very bottom of it, and it went down a little bit, almost to where the T starts, and then on the other side, it was kind of like a 2 to 3 fingered claw. I do remember that.
Yeah, it doesn't sound too good. All right, man. Well, I wish I could stay on longer here, but it's like 1:13 a.m. in the morning. Any last questions or comments, James, to help him out?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna message him, but I don't know. This is wild to me. Prayer and shadow work and clear those energies of any of that witchcraft stuff you did. You definitely got to clear those energies, because that'll
you gotta get rid of that.
Even worse.
Yeah, you gotta get rid of all that stuff.
Oh yeah, I did all that cleansing. I got all that out of there. I had a friend of mine that is heavy into all that. Got it all cleared out. Not heavy into witchery, but heavy into he's pretty much a bishop. So he comes in, he did all that. And
right.
Well, I guess the best we can do is pray for you. Hope that you get peace of sleep. You the solace that you deserve, my friend. That's
definitely
what I can do.
Yep. All right, there. I appreciate you coming on here, man. It was really good to have you share what's going on here. Just do the Christed bubble protection every day. Just envelop it around you all the time and see what happens. Like every day.
All right, I will do that.
And when you're going to sleep, it has to be 24 hours a day for you. And then let me know in a few days what's going on.
Will do.
All right, my friend. Thank you for coming on here. I'm sorry you're going through that, but we're going to help you.
I got to get rid of these headaches too.
Oh yeah, you will. All right, everybody. I want to thank Mr. Bones for coming on here. Let me just do this here. I want to thank James for coming on here, my co-host. Yes.
Wait a second. Listen, I didn't want to I know he's probably listening. I didn't want to freak him out too much, but that hypnotist going missing, that's a huge indicator of something else going on. Maybe
in an office and
subject. Maybe he was Montauk Project when he was young, and
who knows?
They're doing something, man.
Gail, thank you.
Woo.
And who would be giving a guy a card in an office that said they're a hypnotist in that office, and 2 days later, that office is empty. There's nowhere to be found. The person.
On the very next day. And he said this was last week.
Yeah.
He's trying this guy like sounds like he's doing everything.
Yeah.
Oh, Sillamore, if you don't know about the Montauk Project, you better go listen to my last podcast episode. We don't have time to talk about it.
The Kit Kat says the man only used his first name.
Well, he didn't say that. He didn't say the last name, I'm sure.
Right.
Because he couldn't remember it, but he remembers that the doctor's name was Barry.
Yeah. It's a strange story.
The doctor only said, hello, I am Dr. Barry. I am Barry, and I went to Barry University. Oh.
I know, it's just really weird. I've never heard a story like this. And it's just really strange.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard the reoccurring dreams. I've experienced that myself, and like Fierce Pony says, you need a powerful psychic. Yeah, you need somebody that can really get in there. Yeah.
Well, I definitely do some research, James, because I think we need to try to help them as much as we can.
I don't want to start researching Dr. Barry, and all of a sudden I get 2 men in black showing up at my house.
Well, you're the one who said you do some research.
I know, I will. I'll do it. I'll do it, but woo.
Yeah.
We sure do.
All right,
we sure do bring some good stories out of people.
We will, but sometimes this happens, and maybe there's a reason. So maybe somehow we can help them, or some people in the audience can help them. And that, I think, would be a good thing. All right, folks, it's been a blessing. Thanks for all the gifts. Thanks for James for being here and everybody.
Yeah, sorry I didn't make it. I got caught in the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I want to thank Grace for being here, Zilla, my good friend up in Vermont, April, everyone, and all of you out there, definitely, everybody. We love you all, always. We'll be on tomorrow night, on Friday night, with another edition of Encounters. I think we're going to create a contact night, and we'll see if our Ashtar Command brothers and sisters with April wish to participate, and it'll be a beautiful night. So I'll figure that out in the morning. But right now, I'm fading a little bit. I want to thank everybody for being here. James, have a good day tomorrow. Have a good night, and thank you for coming on here, brother.
All right, everybody. And remember, do something good for yourself and for others, and you shall be blessed with the karmic love of the universe.
And when you come off of this show tonight, everybody go to sleep. Don't go on any other TikToks of people jumping up and down on the TV, or or hitting a baseball against the wall in their room or something.
I was thinking about going and doing a live where I was going to hit my baseball.
You can actually go live, James, and have that disco ball going around, and you can be jumping up and down dancing.
I could do that. The dance of the 7 veils. Yeah, cool.
You could.
All right, everybody.
Everybody, seriously, take care. Be well. We'll catch you all tomorrow night in another edition of Encounters, a show that's out of this world. Let's see if I can. Here we go.